Lansing, Michigan. In short, we have perfect football weather for one of the nation's oldest rivalries. Number 7 Michigan and the Spartans of Michigan State. Stay inside, stay warm, and stay with us. The Wolverines and the Spartans coming up on ABC Sports. Rivalry out of the Big Ten. Today, it's the Michigan Wolverines taking on the Spartans of Michigan State. And here in East Lansing, it is cold and colder. Right now, the temperature at 22 degrees, a wind chill of 5 degrees. It has been windy and snowing throughout the day. It is very dark right now. Hi, everyone. I'm Terry Gannon. And usually in a rivalry, you know, they say throw the record books out. Well, here, the records really count. Michigan still with hopes of going to the Rose Bowl. They have to keep winning and hoping that Northwestern loses. And Michigan State needs to win 2 out of their last 3 games just to be eligible for a bowl. And as I bring in my partner, Tim Brandt. Tim, the mystery all week long in this state, who's going to start at quarterback for Michigan? I know you have an answer.
Oh, partner, that's an easy one today. Scott Dreisbach didn't even dress. You know, he had the pins taken out of his hand last week. It's still tender. He's not going to play. So Brian Greasy gets the call again. Not much of a drop-off there. They say his arm's not as strong, but, folks, I can tell you this. He was outstanding against Minnesota last week. He's a quality quarterback. Who would not be with a running back behind him like Tim Biakabatuka? 196 yards last week against Minnesota. Look at him. He's just shy of 1,000 for the season already. He's quick. He's an outstanding back. Now, the number 1 receiver has become Amani Toomer. Now, the Michigan State coaches feel you've got to get up on him right at the line of scrimmage and hit him to get off. They say he's not very strong there. Minnesota played off. They played soft. And watch what happens. You give him that kind of room, boom, stop it right here. Look, he's already between the seam, between the linebacker and the DB. If I'm even, I'm leaving, says he, and he's gone. 2 steps every 5 yards. Outstanding receiver. He's going to be a key today. Now for Michigan State, of course, Tony Banks, the quarterback, is healthy for the first time in over a month. He had a bad ankle, but he's back. He was sacked 7 times last week. Still was not real mobile. He is now, and he's got to have a good game.
Well, the 88th meeting between these two, it always heats up no matter the weather. The Wolverines and the Spartans coming up next. We don't have to tell anyone who lives in the state of Michigan about this rivalry. Only 63 miles apart. Ann Arbor to East Lansing. The ride made earlier this morning by the Michigan Wolverines. And here they are arriving at Spartan Stadium. You see the snow flurries. That's been going on all day long. And certainly weather a factor. A perfect, typical Big Ten football day here in East Lansing, Michigan. And the man who will have to brave those elements down on the sidelines all day, the former NFL tight end, John Spagnola. John, what do you have for us?
Well, it may be chilly down here on the field, guys, but the passions are running hot in the stands as friends, neighbors, and even family members are divided in this interstate rivalry. Michigan State has won 3 of the last 10 years. That may not seem like a lot, but that's more victories than any other Big Ten team over that same time period. And, of course, they're thinking upset here today. Terry?
All right, John, and you realize how deep this rivalry is felt. When you look at the numbers, 69 players from the state of Michigan will play in this football game. And Tim Brandt, this is a rivalry that's always fun every year.
It really is. It's one of those ones to just put an exclamation point to what John was talking about. You know, friendships have ended, relationships have broken up because of this game. I mean, you're either for Michigan State or you're for Michigan if you live here. And it's just going to be emotional today for both sides.
Yeah, normally it is Big Ten style football, the old days. You saw that graphic a moment ago. The team that wins the rushing game has won all the way back since 1969. And the crowd here, a full house, better than 70,000, and the battle for the Paul Bunyan Trophy about to get underway. Nick Saban in his first year at the helm for the Michigan State Spartans.
Nick Saban replaced George Perlis. His career record 13-5-1 on the college level. First-year coach at Michigan State, has never beaten Michigan, so he's very cognizant of that. It was big headlines in the paper today. He knows what the deal is.
Lloyd Carr, of course, in his first year as quote-unquote interim head coach for the Michigan Wolverines. And there you have a look, which really doesn't tell the story. This field was covered with snow about an hour ago. And the snow holding off just a bit right now, but we do expect flurries throughout the day. Michigan at 7-1 on the year. And Michigan State 4-3-1. And Tim, we talked about it, but one of the keys to this game will be how well Michigan State takes care of the football and stays away from penalties. That has really been an area that has hurt them.
They've had 4 games of double-digit penalties. I mean, 10 or more. That and turnovers are right, but the other thing is they've got to stop the running game of Michigan somehow. They have not been able to stop the running game very often this year. They've got to 8, 9-man front, really, until Michigan makes them come off a little bit.
Michigan won the toss but deferred to the second half. So for Michigan State, Derek Mason back deep. And he is a guy who can return a few. And Jay Feely will handle the kicking duties for Michigan as we are set to get underway here in East Lansing.
You're right about Mason. 1,700 career kickoff return yards. He's dangerous.
And a line drive kick that is touched at the 24. And it has to be downed at the 18. It was a free ball for a moment. So a bit unfortunate for the Michigan State Spartans. They will start their first series at their own 18-yard line.
I'm not sure that ball wasn't headed for out of bounds before he touched it. That would have been on the 35 instead of at the 18.
And Tony Banks leads the way for Michigan State. He missed 3 games with an injured ankle, but he is back, and they say he's near 100%, maybe about 90% now.
Tony has played in 5 games this year, 4 over 200 yards. He's very, very, very mobile. There's a look at the skilled folks. Derek Mason, of course, is very, very important.
Philly's starting lineups, and we are underway. First play from scrimmage. The pass out of the backfield and wrapped up at the 14-yard line.
That's Renaud. We'll see how early they get Derek Mason involved. He averages 4 receptions a game, 4 catches last week, and a touchdown. They've got to throw to him. Now, here are the guys up front. Now, this line is totally rebuilt from last year. As a matter of fact, Poposky was a walk-on, and there's pressure on Pops today to stop and step up to the next level. They come through him a lot. Irons will come through him a lot.
So Renaud loses a few on a little screen pass. It's 2nd and 14 now. And here he goes, trying the right side, trying to get outside, and slips back at the 13. He may have lost another yard. So they're going the wrong way. Mike Elston came in to make the tackle for the Wolverines.
See, this has been a problem Michigan State has had the entire year. They have 3rd down and long constantly instead of 3rd and short.
There's a defensive front for Michigan, and Jared Irons, the man who leads the way in the linebacking core, the #1 tackler on this team.
Also captain, co-captain, Butkus Award semifinalist, leads the team in tackles every year. He even did as a freshman.
Well, we mentioned Renaud in there. Right now it's Scott Green. He has a hamstring problem. We'll chronicle those problems all day long. They have had problems in their backfield with injury. And the pass intended for Derek Mason, and here comes the flag.
You know, I'm not sure that ball was catchable.
Charles Woodson on the coverage, but I think you're right. That ball was high and wide.
I'd pick that flag back up and put it in my pocket, say no call. That ball wasn't catchable.
There is no foul on the play. The ball was ruled.
All right, they're going to pick that flag up. That is a good no call. Pick the flag up. The ball wasn't catchable. There was definite contact, but the ball has to be catchable. So the officials do the right thing after throwing the flag. They pick it back up and say, hey, let's just go on.
Jim Kemmerling, the referee, after a little bit of a huddle, and they make the right call, I do believe. Amani Toomer back deep, awaiting the punt of Chris Solani, who stands at his own goal line. An auspicious start for the Spartans here on their first series.
You know, and the worst thing's going to happen here because they're going to give great field position for Michigan.
Toomer at his own 43. Finds a seam. And a good return back to the 41. Ball was loose for a moment, but he got it back. Well, a punt of 43 yards and a return of 16 yards by Amani Toomer. And Brian Greasy gets the start. Once again, he has started 4 games to this point. And since coming on for Dreisbach, he has done a credible job, I think, running this offense, Tim.
I think he's done a terrific job, and he gets everybody involved. 7 players caught passes last week. He got everybody involved right away. And, of course, Tim Biakabatuka, when he's able to run and get things going like he was last week, almost 200 yards, of course, that opens up the entire offense.
So 1st and 10 at the 41. And Greasy back to throw. Over the middle, Remersma, the tight end, with the catch. And about a gain of 9 yards up to the 31-yard line.
I can't tell you how unusual that is for Michigan to start with a pass, and especially to go to their tight end, Riemersma, who's an outstanding player and a big target at 6'6", 250. But they normally start with the run, and the reason is because they have guys like John Runyon up there. Scouts love him. The NFL scouts, they love his balance and his feet and his hands. He's special, big-time player. That offensive line all the way across the board, it's an outstanding offensive line as a group.
2nd and 1, Biakabatuka, the lone back in the backfield. Richards in motion. And here comes the big back for Michigan, a first down. Down to the 25, maybe the 24. Last week, Biakabatuka had a big game against Minnesota, 196 yards. And there's the front that he will face for Michigan State, led by linebacker Reggie Garnett, their leading tackle.
Well, Garnett, he was the All-Big Ten Freshman of the Year. He has started 30 straight games now, had a sack. He's from Akron, Ohio, but the big differential is up front. That defensive line is not big. Michigan is, and that's a mismatch. And you can see already Michigan starting to manhandle it.
First down at the 25, Greasy to throw again. Out to his tight end, Riemersma again, inside the 20. And driven back to the 23. Forward progress brought it down to the 18. Ike Reese on the coverage and the tackle. This is a defense, Tim, from Michigan State that has struggled as well. And you look at their secondary, well, they've given up big plays this year.
Well, Marvin Wright's a junior. He forced a fumble last week. That stopped a scoring drive. He has 3 forced fumbles in 4 games, but it's a group really that's going to be tested today big time. But again, the mismatches up front, the defensive line. You can already see Riemersma is a major part of this game plan for Michigan.
2nd and 3, Biakabatuka looks outside. Not going to get there. Wrapped up at the 18.
Look who it is, Marvin Wright.
So they stop him on 2nd down. In fact, they lose a yard perhaps, and we've touched on it. But what do you think in terms of both squads, what they have to do today?
Well, I think Michigan State almost has to play a perfect game, but if you look at this, you'll see Biakabatuka, I think, has to go over 100 yards again. They've got to get some pressure on Banks. Of course, Banks was sacked 7 times. And I think the big play, which was big last week against Minnesota, they got to have that. Michigan State, they've got to get somebody to run today. Everybody's banged up. They've got to protect Banks. And we talked about the penalties and turnovers have killed the Spartans this year.
Chris Howard now in the backfield, 3 receivers in on 3rd and 3. A lot of time, but that one was broken up at the line of scrimmage. Somebody got a hand up there.
Boy, Mercury Hayes was wide open, too, dragging across the middle under the linebackers. Looked like Robert McBride got a hand on it. They switched McBride to defensive tackle today and moved Allen outside, and they did that because McBride's 6'3.5". That height just paid off on that tip.
So Remy Hamilton comes on for a field goal try of 36 yards. And it is good. A 35-yard field goal officially, and that was with the wind. Wind may play a factor today. So the Wolverines stopped, but they do get on the board and lead it 3-0 early on in this one. Now here is a man who cares not about his body or his well-being. John Spirit is his name. He's been guarding Sparty, the statue on campus, for the last 17 days. It has been a tradition for the Michigan Wolverines to come over and take care of that statue a little bit during
Paint it
this
up
week.
a little bit.
Yeah.
I took a long walk this morning. I talked to him out there, John Spirit, and I said, hey, John, Michigan State could use that guy today, Sparty. They said, yeah, but he's not very mobile.
Well, he finally left his spot. He's in the stadium right now. Once the game started, he was gone. Well, a 6-play drive for the Wolverines of 29 yards. Took almost 2.5 minutes off the clock, and there is Derek Mason back deep for the Spartans once again.
That was actually a pretty good defensive stand by Michigan State to hold Michigan to 3 points after they had that great field position.
Another line drive kick, this one into the end zone and out of it. So the Spartans will bring it out to the 20-yard line and start their second series from there. And they were not able to move the ball on their first one. The defensive backfield for the Michigan Wolverines as we continue with our Chile starting lineups. Charles Woodson, you mentioned him a moment ago, only a freshman out of Fremont, Ohio, and he is a good one.
He really is. He's been a great surprise to the coaches. He played beyond his years, they said. He's got 3 fumble recoveries, 2 interceptions. You know, this time last year he's playing for Ross High School. Now here he is playing in the big time.
First and 10 at the 20, and we've got flags all over the place.
I don't know what that is. I talked to the coaches. I asked Nick Saban. I said, is it a lack of discipline? Yet what? The reason you have all these penalties? He said, well, it must be because they just continue and continue and continue. You know, Michigan State had 10 penalties last week against Wisconsin. That was the 4th time this year that State had double-digit penalties, 10 or more. That could be aggressiveness, but it's definitely a lack of discipline. I don't know how you correct that.
Well, that's one category you do not want to lead the Big Ten in. And they've had those. They've had turnovers. That's really shut down this offense. Mark Renaud finding his way along the right side and out to about the 19-yard line. Maybe 3. Tackle made by William Carr, the defensive tackle, who has had a terrific year for the Michigan Wolverines. He was not starting earlier in the year, but they had to find a way to get him in the lineup. Jason Horn, All-American candidate at defensive end. They moved him out to that defensive end spot to get Carr in the lineup.
Michigan State continues to mix and match, trying to get guys healthy. Boy, Carr is a player, though, isn't he? 6 feet, 270 pounds. 5 sacks on the year.
There goes Renaud in motion. 2 receivers to the near side. Banks to throw on the run. And complete out to Muhammad and knocked out of bounds right about the 25-yard line. Hussein Muhammad, a senior out of Lansing, Michigan, with the catch. Number 2 receiver on this team. And Clarence Thompson, the defensive back, made the hit.
Thompson's a young guy, too. 6'1", 198-pound junior. He's out of Detroit. Very aggressive defense. The Wolverines have gone away from that situational defense. You know, the 3-down constant changes. Switched to a 4-3 defense for several reasons, but it's been very effective for them. They read now on the run, stay with the personnel, hunt, confront type mentality, much more aggressive.
3rd down and 6 at the 24. Muhammad in motion and Banks to throw. And he's got his wide receiver for a 1st down. Across the 35 out to the 39-yard line. They sent him in motion and then they threw to him. And they pick up a 1st down to move the chains.
Boy, that is a good-looking play. They spread the field. Spread the defense thin. Watch this now. Muhammad runs just an out pattern, but watch Banks. Banks gets time. Here comes Muhammad underneath number 1. Look at him. They slip on the outside. He just runs into the flat, takes it all the way to the sideline, and picks up the 1st.
Gain of 16 on the play, so they spot it right at the 39-yard line.
Field's a little bit slick. You mentioned the snow that was on it earlier. Still could be frozen.
Split the backs, Green and Renaud. Play action for Banks. Muhammad again with another catch. And knocked out of bounds right at the 50-yard line, close to another 1st down.
Mason and Muhammad and Thompson having a few words as they go back to the huddle. Thompson got a little feisty there on the sideline and tagged him pretty good. But that 1st down and moving the chains gets the crowd back into this thing.
Well, that's what Nick Saban wanted to do coming into this one. Throw when Michigan would expect run and vice versa. So far, he's been able to do it in this drive.
Well, he wants to keep that Michigan defense off balance, and you're right, he has been able to do that effectively. Now, I guarantee you this will be a run.
And the ball's on the floor. Renaud picks it up in a big gain. Gets ahead to about the 42-yard line, gain of roughly 8. William Carr made the tackle.
You know, we talked about Renaud being banged up. He's got a sore knee. He's not alone. This is what we're talking about, keeping guys healthy, mixing and matching. Banks, we mentioned for the last month he's had an ankle problem. Renaud's knee. Goulburn's leg, he's got a fracture. Green has a hamstring problem. Patrick's got a bad leg, and Reese has a sprained shoulder. So that's how banged up they are.
Goulburn, who's been out, they say could play a little bit today. Not sure that he will, but he would be available for a little bit of duty. Renaud with the carry to the right side, and he is just popped. Right at the 43-yard line. William Carr again in on the tackle. Been awfully active early on here. Now let's take you to the studio. Check in for the first time with our buddy John Saunders in New York. John?
All right, Terry, thanks a lot. The biggest surprise of this college football season, Northwestern, and they continue to surprise. After a pass interference play set this up, Darnell Autry from 2 yards out, 7-0 as they look to remain unbeaten in the Big Ten. Wisconsin and Purdue in the conference. Purdue wins at 38-27. Mike Allstott, a career-high 204 yards. Terry.
John, thanks, and the folks here obviously very interested in what's going on with Northwestern and Penn State. We'll keep you updated throughout the day. quick out to Muhammad. And across the 30 down to the 29-yard line, but there is a flag on the play right about the 28. We'll wait to see what that's all about.
Well, if it goes the way the rest of the season is going, it will be against the green jerseys. It seems like the flags are magnetic and attached to the green shirts.
Offensive interference. Scott Green pleading his case. And Nick Saban not very happy about it.
You know, he's got to be happy with this drive, though. He's not happy with this call, and he doesn't want any bad breaks. But I tell you, he's moving this thing, and he does have Michigan a little off balance right now. Take a look at this. That looks like a good block. I don't know what the call was. They're picking the flag.
And now they're going to pick it up.
Yeah, they say, wait a minute, there's nothing wrong here.
Well, I'm not sure they had a chance to look at the replay like we did, but Scott Green was pleading his case.
The line of scrimmage. First down.
But this is an outstanding drive by Michigan State. I'm telling you, they're running, they're throwing to the flats.
Go very quickly for an update from John Spagnuolo. He may have something for us. Spags?
I don't know if you were able to hear the referee, but the ball was caught behind the line of scrimmage. That's what the side judge did not see here. That's why he called offensive interference. But you're allowed to block downfield in college football if the ball is completed behind the line of scrimmage as a screenplay. So no flag, an effective no flag here, an accurate call. Back to you.
Thanks, Spags. 1st and 10 now, and to the air. Going for Carter, and flags all over the place as the ball is picked off. Charles Woodson with the return, but you got to believe this is coming back.
Well, no, I tell you what, they're going to move this ball and give Michigan State 15 yards for pass interference. That was Woodson, number 2 for Michigan, pushed off, and so Michigan State is going to gain 15 on this thing.
And I believe we're in agreement on that.
Is that what you said?
Yeah, that's exactly what I
Well, like I said, I agree with you. I agree with you. There's no question it was contact.
Pass interference on the defense. 15 yards from the previous spot. First down.
So they move at 15, and this is a big play to keep this drive alive. Watch Gia Carter, and he is being held at the end of this play.
Here's the contact right there.
Yeah.
That ball's in the air. There can't be any contact after 5 when that ball's in the air. Obviously, there was. Flag's already down before the interception. So they move it down 15. It's a first down for Michigan State, and this is an outstanding drive.
They picked flags up twice so far. They don't pick that one up. First down at the 15 now. Muhammad in motion to the far side. Renaud hit behind the line and dropped. Jared Irons, the middle linebacker, just punishes Mark Renaud, and on a day like this, it's got to hurt.
He's an outstanding player, son of the former NFL star Gerald Irons.
Look at what Michigan has done this year. Allowed only 3 points in the first quarter. 69-3. They've outscored opponents.
Yeah, but the flip side of that is, Terry, that Michigan State has done most of its scoring in the first quarter.
Absolutely. Tony Banks now 5 out of 6 for 39 yards. 2nd and 11 at the 16. Here comes a blitz, and Irons sends Banks down to the ground at the 27-yard line. They never picked him up.
Well, we told you at the beginning of this game there's going to be a lot of pressure on that offensive line. Popovsky, Beard, Mosalem. That's the reason is because Irons comes straight up the middle. Did last week. He continues to do that. Boy, he brings on the blitz, and he comes hard. This guy's 6'1", 231, and runs like a back. Straight up the middle he comes. Now, Banks has got to throw that ball away, but I'm not sure he had time there.
Yeah.
Just throw that thing as hard as you can to the back of the end zone.
3rd sack of the year for Irons, and that's the 30th on the year for Michigan. All of last year, they only had 29.
Boy, he got there quickly, didn't he?
So it brings up 3rd and 20 at the 25. Out of the shotgun is Banks. Out to Green at the 30. Fighting his way down to the 15, and a good pickup. But to get a first down, the Spartans have to get to the 5-yard line.
No, he doesn't get the first. He's still 10 yards short of that, Terry. But the thing he does do is put him back in field goal range where they can tie the score up, and let's start all over again.
Well, it brings up 4th and 10. And Chris Gardner comes on for a field goal try of 32 yards, trying to tie this one up. And he is kicking against the wind. and no good. Wide left. So the Wolverines hold on that drive by the Spartans and still lead it 3-0 with 5:55 left in the first. ABC Sports brought to you by Chevrolet Trucks, the most dependable, longest lasting trucks on the road. De Beers, a diamond is forever. The Document Company, Xerox, a simpler way to do good work. And Chili's Grill and Bar, where steak lovers go for great grilled steaks. Snowflakes still falling here in East Lansing, Michigan.
It looks Chili's on that
It
Red Cedar River.
Very fitting. Boy, it's been cold all day here, too. 22 degrees as we started this game. Wind chill of 5, and I don't think it's getting any warmer.
What a beautiful campus this is, Terry. I mean, we had the opportunity to walk all over it. The Red Cedars goes right down through the middle of it. Beautiful place.
So Brian Greasy takes over for Michigan here at the 20-yard line. They lead it 3-0 after the missed field goal by Michigan State. Yakubatuka trying the left side. He's got a hole. And fights his way across the 25 to the 26-yard line. Carl Reeves, the outside linebacker, made the stop.
You know, Michigan State showed a lot of pursuit there. They've got to do that. They've got to get more than one helmet on Biakabatuka to stop him. See where Sori Kanu came in there to clean up the safety. He's just a freshman, but they were standing him up, and he came up and made Biakabatuka pay there at the end of the run. They've got to do that all day.
Mercury Hayes to the near side, and Amani Toomer split to the far side. Biakabatuka straight up the middle, fights his way maybe a yard or two up to the 28-yard line. Jabbar Threets, the defensive end, made the stop. Well, tonight on ABC, brand new episode. Full lineup. 3rd down and 1 for the Wolverines at the 29. Toomer in motion to give to Biakabatuka, and he's got a lot more than they needed. Up to the 36-yard line, and there's an example of how Michigan State is going to have problems with this running game today.
That's what I call the elephant formation. Boy, you get John Jansen up there that's 280 pounds, and Marinero is 290, and Payne is 290. Then you bring over another motion man to use him as a blocker. Then you send Biakabatuka up behind him. I mean, that's a lot of beef leading you up there. And then he can make a hole when there is none there. He's so quick.
For Michigan State, too, one of the things that's hurt them is when they try to come up and bring up support, and you get about 8 guys up near the line, it's when you give up the big play deep.
Football's a numbers game, too. They outnumber you. You know, they'll try to get more guys on you than you have.
Clarence Williams, the freshman from Detroit, in now for Biakabatuka. Here he is. Hit and bounces off. And driven to the ground at the 37-yard line. So our first look at Clarence Williams. And the tackle by Ike Reese, the sophomore out of Cincinnati.
Now there is a well-designed play. They roll one side, stop, and throw the backside screen, but Ike Reese was there. As a matter of fact, he would have had him for a loss had he wrapped his arms, bounced off him once, then a great pursuit again. Ike Reese got up off the ground, came back, and made the tackle.
2nd and 9 at the 37, and Biakabatuka back in after a rest for one play. And here he is. Stopped after maybe one, if that. Jabbar Threets, number 94 out of Garden City, Kansas. Stood him up at the line.
You know, it's interesting what Dean Pease is doing defensively. He's the defensive coordinator. He's concerned with the inconsistent pass rush and different looks. So he lined up that time like it was a 2-deep defense. Then he brought his safety up, and all of a sudden it became an 8-man front and only 3 guys deep. So they were loading up for the run, but they disguised it pretty well.
And they're going to have to do a lot of that against Greasy today. Chris Howard in the backfield now on 3rd and 6 for the Wolverines. Greasy. A lot of time. Incomplete. The intended receiver, Amani Toomer. And good coverage by Ollie Henry in that secondary for Michigan State.
Boy, I tell you, that was good coverage. He came up like he was going to bump him off the line, didn't, but got to the hook area with him. The Canadian, Henry, was very, very, very physical.
Junior out of Montreal, and Eric Mason back at his own 18-yard line. Nate DeLong's punt, a low line drive kick. Mason takes it to 24. his feet. Boy, how did he get out of that? Returns it out to the 34, so the punt of 37 yards brought back 11 yards, and Michigan State takes over. There have been many big names, of course, in Michigan football history, but one of the greatest, Tom Harmon, who twice led the nation in scoring, a two-time All-America, and of course he won the Heisman Trophy back in 1940. And how about this? He even eludes the tackles from the stands. A fan coming out.
Hey, look at that, though.
Sidesteps him.
That's no ordinary fan. That guy's bald, he's fat, he's old. Where'd that guy come from? That's not a student.
No wonder he couldn't make the tackle. Tom Harmon, good old number 98. Spartans take over at the 34. Look at Tim Brandt.
That might have been
down near the goal line. Play action for Banks, and he rolls, and he's got room. And throws up to Muhammad, who makes the catch under heavy pressure at the 47-yard line. And let's go up to get a Stanford USC update from John Saunders in New York.
Well, Terry, right now USC has the inside track out of the Pac-10 to the Rose Bowl, but Stanford is not going to be fooled, although everyone else was on this play. Mark Butterfield to Mark Harris after the fake. He takes it into the end zone for the touchdown, and Stanford has jumped in front early, 13-0. Terry, back to you.
John, what a surprise. At Stanford a couple of weeks ago, and they're playing well, but USC in the last 3-4 weeks is just
an attack.
Yeah.
How about Butterfield, though? There's a guy that doesn't start until he's just about done with eligibility, and now he's put himself in the NFL picture.
That's right. Flags on the play, and that's not a sight that Nick Saban wants to see. He's seen it all too often this year.
False start on the offense.
Wow.
False start.
So far, they've been able to move the ball, and Michigan State playing well. Hussein Muhammad has already got 5 catches for 55 yards on the day. But you can't keep backing your offense up. Now it's 1st and 15 at the 41.
Not only moving the ball, but defensively, Michigan State has played quite well. But you're right, they've got to get some points here. They can't take these opportunities and squander them early on and expect to be in the hunt late with Michigan.
On the reverse to Carter. The gap closed right at the 42-yard line, so a good read by the Michigan defense. Nagia Carter on that reverse may have lost a couple. And let's go down to the sidelines. Check in with John Spagnola.
Well, guys, you know, most guys who come out in college football out of high school play both ways in high school. In the case of Flozell Adams, he played 3 ways in high school. He played offense, defense. He'd go in a minute before halftime, come back out, and he'd play in the band. He played a trumpet for the band. This guy was dog-tired, his mother Rachel said, when the game was over after playing offensive and defensive line and marching around at halftime. Back to you.
You know, Spags, he's the cousin of Hersey Hawkins, NBA player.
Yeah, but Hersey never played the trumpet in high school. 2nd and 14 for Banks. Goes and wide open is Nagia Carter. A first down to the 41-yard line of Michigan. Steve King, the strong safety, made the tackle, but another big gain, and they moved the chains for the Spartans.
Boy, and I can tell you this, too. Tony Banks is throwing that football with authority. Now, watch this. Here you go. You're in the secondary. Banks gets a good drop. This is a 5-step drop. Boom. Now, find your receiver and step into it with authority. They're in a zone defense. He finds the seam, just kind of hooks right in there. Then they close on him. But once again, they move the chains. And Michigan State being effective with its high percentage, throwing underneath the tack.
What Tony Banks has done, good job of reading the defense, and he does have a gun. And he looks pretty mobile to me. The ankle doesn't look like it's bothering him. Scott Green sidesteps the man, gets across the 40 down to the 38. Rob Sweat, the outside linebacker, made the stop there.
Scott Green's lost a little of his quickness, hadn't he, with that hamstring injury? Played last week, had to leave the game because the hamstring tightened up on him. Practiced this week. They didn't even know if he'd be able to play today, but Scott Green's a great story. Do you realize he has never fumbled in his college career?
Not many backs can say that, especially when they're seniors. Well, he's played in every series so far, too, and as the final seconds of the first quarter tick off the clock, a little bit surprising to see him in there as much as he has been. So it's been a good one, a low-scoring game so far. The Wolverines leading 3-0 at the end of the first here in chilly East Lansing. The beat goes on here at East Lansing, but it's got to be a chilly beat. See them all wrapped up on the sidelines.
Yeah, we saw some of those guys last night at the Land Shark. They're all right. They're ready to go.
Looked a little warmer last night than they do today. Lloyd Carr, the head coach, the Michigan Wolverines. I would think a bit concerned at this point. Michigan State's been able to move the ball against their defense, and after that first series and the field goal by the Wolverines, the Spartans' defense has shut down Michigan. Second down and 8 at the 40, and Banks out of the shotgun now, under pressure, and throws it away.
That's a good play by Banks. He felt the blitz coming. He came through cleanly. So he just threw it away, as you said, because his ice receiver, the man out of the backfield there, was covered anyway.
Look at what took place in the first quarter. Only 4 rushing yards for Michigan State, but 77 in the air. And balance from Michigan. Time of possession on the side of the Spartans.
See, and I'm going to tell you something. That's big right there. Those 77 yards, that's huge. They're getting it done, and it's high percentage stuff. It's stuff that's really not going to cause them too many problems as long as Banks uses his head.
Key third down here, though, and here we are with the yellow flags once again. Another false start on the Michigan State offensive line. It's I think the third time we've seen that already today.
Drive you crazy if you're a coach. You just can't figure out what the problem is, but they continue to have problems like that. We talked about it openly with Nick Saban, and he didn't have any answers for us, did he?
Well, when you get to this point in the season, you played 8 games, I don't know that there are any answers. Obviously, he's tried everything that he could. Nick Saban, the defensive coach, of course, was with the Browns, the coordinator for the Browns the last few years, and the Oilers. Former assistant coach here, now back as the head man at East Lansing. Third down and 13, a key third down. Banks to the air deep for Mason, and out of bounds. He was well covered, too.
There's a positive out of that. It's that the offensive line gave Banks plenty of time to throw that ball that time. That was a coverage play, though. He just didn't have anywhere to throw it, so very wisely went wide and out of bounds.
So back deep is Amani Toomer, standing at his own 10-yard line. Vissalani, the senior out of Hancock, Michigan, set to punt it away again. In the defensive game so far. And now a little bit of a delay, and we're set to go. Some confusion on the field at this point. Now we're set. High, deep, over the head of Toomer, and bounces straight up and into the end zone. We'll bring it back out, and the Wolverines get a bit of a break. Looks like it may stay for a moment. Well, the baseball season's not over. Leon making his impact felt in Dallas.
Got that contract situation worked out finally in Dallas. Working out over the next several years.
Yakabatuka fighting his way, still on his feet, bounces outside. It may have a first down out at the 32-yard line. They just couldn't wrap him up and bring him down.
That's the thing, too. When you play a guy like Yakabatuka, who's got those quick feet, and he's got those shoulders that move, you've got to wrap him up. You've got to get your arms around him. You've got to stop him high. Boy, there's a guy, you know, he doesn't want to be known as a slithering runner. He wants to be known as a guy that'll punish you, that run you over. But watch him. This guy's feet and shoulders go in opposite directions. Look at him just breaking, tackling, spinning, moving, driving like a whirling dervish, and he gets outside, and there's a little bit of power on the sideline.
Yakabatuka, who needed 3 yards to get to 1,000 for the year.
I'll tell you something. He's studying kinesiology, major in motion.
Straight ahead.
His motion is dropping some science today on Michigan State.
So far, Chris Floyd fighting his way across the 35 to the 36. And that's a gain of about 4 or so. But Yakabatuka now over the 1,000-yard mark for the season and over 2,000 yards for his career. He right now has 38 yards on the day.
It is incredible what he can do with his feet. I mean, the ability to change directions at high speed with very few steps is amazing.
2nd and 6, Ricky Hayes in motion. Greasy with flags down. Over the middle, complete to Jeremy Tuman at the 41-yard line, but they may bring this one back. It was an odd-looking play. Ricky Hayes was in motion and had to actually move towards the line of scrimmage to get around a man who was set up in the slot. That may have been the penalty.
Yeah, it is. It's against Michigan. But you know that the very first series that Michigan had the ball, they went to Reamersville, the tight end, twice.
Illegal formation on the offense. Repeat. 2nd down.
That was the first time they've gone back to the tight end. This time they went to Tuman, but that's the first time they've gone back to the tight end since that first series. And the reason is because the Spartans are taking it away. They're walking the safety up, and they're taking that tight end away.
Lloyd Carr not wearing any jacket on the sideline. He just has the sweater and the turtleneck on. Not so up here in the booth with my partner now.
Yeah, but he's 50 years old. See, we're still young.
Well, our blood should be flowing then. We should be nice and warm, and I am not. 2nd and 11 at the 31. Yakubatuka, the lone back, and here he comes. Gives it back to Hayes, who has room. Oh, but now he's brought down at the 32. I thought if he cut outside, he had some green ahead of him. Ike Reese made the tackle.
I'll tell you this right now. Ike Reese can run. He readjusted quickly and saved a big play. First, watch the reverse and watch the green jerseys all head in that direction. Now, here it comes back the other way. Hayes, but watch 44 in green, right in the middle of your screen. He not only gets through 2 blockers, but then chases him down from behind. Big-time play by Ike Reese, the young sophomore out of Cincinnati, Ohio.
It's a strong arm, too. He's only 2'11", but he brought him down with one arm. Chris Howard now in the backfield. Greasy back to throw on 3rd and 10. And throws it away. The intended receiver, Todd Richards, who was open right about midfield.
Boy, he is out of rhythm right now. Greasy is not in rhythm. He looks awkward. The entire offense for Michigan right now is out of sync.
You saw him last week against Minnesota. He was, what, 14 out of 19, and he looked great.
Yeah. He was phenomenal last week.
4 touchdown passes, not a school record. Eric Mason back deep for the Spartans.
This has been a special report from ABC News.
Welcome back to East Lansing, Michigan, and this place is going crazy because Derek Mason's 70-yard touchdown return of a punt moments ago. We take a look at what just took place to get the Spartans on the scoreboard.
Mason does it on his own, too. Look at it. He gets a couple key blocks, but watch this. Boom. He's not getting them now. He's just weaving in and out, and now explodes. Puts it into a different level. Look at the explosion in his speed, and Mason takes it the distance. And I mean, this place has been rocking ever since. Spartans now lead 7-3, but watch this. Not a lot of blocks thrown. Mason did this basically on his own. He found a seam, got to the outside. Once he kicks to the outside now, this speed burst right here was phenomenal. Great return by Mason. He did it all on his own.
The last time a Spartan had returned a punt for a touchdown, Bobby Morris, against Michigan back in 1984. It went 87 yards. This one, 70 yards for the touchdown, and it may be cold here, but if you're in the stands and you're wearing green, you're not feeling it at all.
Mason, 1,732 career yards in kick returns, and you can see why. Looked like Brian Mitchell of the Redskins on that one.
Well, and Timmy, I don't think many people expected this, even with 12:48 left in the first half. The running game of Michigan, the defensive woes of Michigan State, but they have played awfully well.
Give the Michigan State coaches a lot of credit. They've come in with a solid game plan. And, you know, instead of complicating things against a team like Michigan, they've really gone and simplified things. They have simplified the offense and the defense.
Mercury Hayes back at his own 5-yard line. Brought down at the 14. Ryan Eccles with the tackle. And the men in green are pumped up.
threw an apple. Did you see the apple come out of the stands? I thought that he was going to get hit by this apple. Watch the return. Here comes Hayes. Watch the top of your screen. You'll see an apple come flying in there. You know, the thing is, when Michigan State gets going, now that confidence will continue to grow.
There's the apple on the right side.
Yeah, there's the apple right there. But guys are now flying around. They're bouncing around. They're excited. The crowd can feel it. The motivation, the momentum has changed.
Well, first down at the 15 for the Wolverines. Biakabatuka, the lone back, he gets the call. And a big hole across the 20 up to the 22-yard line on first down.
Well, I tell you, I hope we don't see any more of that stuff coming out of the stands. Missiles flying around like that. An apple thrown at Hayes. I've seen Hayes make some people eat their lunch, but don't throw anything at him.
Well, normally it has to do with what bowl you're hoping to go to, but I'm not sure there's any tie in there.
Not only that, it was half eaten.
That's the bad part. Gain is 6 on first down, so it's 2nd and 4 now for Michigan. Biakabatuka fighting his way maybe for a yard. He has stood up right at the line of scrimmage. Ike Reese, the outside linebacker, and Marvin Wright both came up to stop it. And don't forget, coming up on the prevent, John Cooper, the head coach at Ohio State, have a talk with him, his views and opinions, and one of those from around the country, one of the coaches in college football too, John Saunders, coming up on the Prudential halftime report.
You know, Freddie Jackson, the offensive coordinator of Michigan, said these 3rd and shorts make him out to be a brilliant coach.
And this guy doesn't hurt either. He fights his way. We'll see if he got there. Needed to get to the 30 or the 26-yard line. The Spartans think they stopped it.
I think they stopped it too. Well, I tell you, Michigan got into the situation it wanted, 3rd down and short. But right now, the green jerseys are flying around. They're playing great defense, and they've got everybody excited. Watch them close down on this ball and watch how many green shirts get around the ball carrier. Here comes Biakabatuka, right now hidden, but they get him from the outside coming down, and then everybody flies in there and stops him.
I think Yakini Allen may have been there first. So a key stop on 3rd down. And here is the punt with Mason back deep again, just about the same spot he was before. And he goes to the outside. Knocked out of bounds at the 37, maybe the 38-yard line of Michigan. Moments ago, he brought it back 70 yards. This time, a return of 24 yards, and the Spartans feel awfully good right now.
Well, you're looking at injured quarterback Scott Dreisbach on the sidelines, not in uniform, obviously. I talked to him about his hand this week. He said it feels not that well. As a matter of fact, he is scheduled for surgery this Monday, and it looks like his season is over. So Brian Griese will be running the Michigan offense for the rest of the season. Scott Dreisbach out for the rest of the season. Terry, back to you.
All right, Spags, and that is news that most people did not know about because big controversy all week who they were going to start at quarterback. There goes Renaud across the 35 down to the 34-yard line.
Although, you know what, John, and Terry, we were talking with Bruce Monty before the ball game, who works in the athletic department at Michigan, and he said that he doubted very seriously if he would be back the rest of this year, and that they wanted to get this thumb taken care of as soon as possible. He did not say anything about surgery, so you've got a little breaking story there, Spags, but I'll tell you what, that's bad news for Wolverines fans, and when Bruce came in and said it to us before the ball game, we were actually shocked.
Well, it's one thing throwing the football, but taking a snap on that hand, on that thumb, it's really jolting. Go out to Muhammad, complete, down to the 21-yard line, and I'll tell you what, Michigan State has moved the football all day long. Penalties hurt them a couple of times, and then they missed the field goal early, Tim, but they've been able to go up and down the football field.
They really have, and you and I were looking at each other during that last commercial break and said, hey, we got sandbagged. We talked to the coordinators yesterday at Michigan State. We talked to Nick Saban. Everybody was very low-key and just painting the moon blue about the penalties and how they haven't performed well and all the problems they have with injuries. This team looks spectacular today.
First down at the 20-yard line. Long count, and Mark Renaud wrapped up in the backfield. Hit by number 96. Who else? William Carr back again. And we have called his name a lot.
pretty good coaching staff. Nick Saban, the head coach. And, you know, when we talked to Gary Tranquil, he, too, talking about his offense, and he wanted his guys, and I think P said this, too, defensively. They want their guys in at the end of the game. So they're moving players. They're playing a lot of guys. They're moving them in and out, and they're putting them in positions where they can perform the best. They've simplified the offense. It's a high-percentage type offense right now. They're trying to eliminate the mistakes by doing that.
Garrett Gould now in at fullback. First series that we've seen him in on. Banks throwing complete to Carter. Down to outside the 20-yard line.
Now, that is not a difficult pass to throw when you have a strong-arm quarterback like Banks. He's got a gun. So they're just sending him out there in the flat. Carter this time, who's the fastest big-time player. And watch, he's working against Thompson. Just outrun him to the corner. Here comes the pass. Boom, gun it out there. A long pass. But again, that's a good high-percentage pass. If he's not there, then just throw it wide out of bounds.
Carter, a junior out of Coconut Creek, Florida. And one of the big play men for this offense.
Well, he's the fastest guy out there. They say he runs a 4.340.
It's not bad. Muhammad in motion, back to the near side now, on 4th and 10. Batted up into the air and incomplete.
Jared Irons.
Yep. Irons had the sack in the series earlier in the game, which really took the field goal away from Michigan State. And now a big play again inside the 25-yard line. You
know, we've talked about Irons. We told you he's the son of Gerald Irons, the former NFL star. We told you he's a Butkus Award semifinalist. Here's the guy that's led this team in tackles every year, even when he was a freshman. The first guy to do that since Eric Anderson.
Chris Gardner now on for a field goal attempt of 37 yards. He missed a 35-yarder earlier in the game. And this one is not even close. Wide left, and the Wolverines hold again, but Spartans up 7-3. Michigan State with obviously a long history. You and I were reminiscing last night about the '66 game of the century here against Notre Dame, and a buddy of yours, of course, quarterback the Irish that day.
Coley O'Brien played high school ball together. I'll tell you this, that was one of the best games I think I've ever seen.
No question.
10-10 tie, game of the century.
Pass complete out to Amani Toomer. His first catch out at the 31-yard line and close to a first down. He may have it. Demetrius Martin, the cornerback from Pasadena, California, on the coverage.
Monty Toomer had 6 receptions last week against Minnesota, 177 yards. Again, they're playing him soft here. We told you in the pregame they can't do that. He'll just drive you off, come back for the ball. Man, I tell you, you talk about a guy getting up. He is 6'4", 201 pounds, and he's got that great leaping ability. So he's playing against defensive backs that are right around 6 feet. He's got a huge advantage if you put it high.
Not really explosive, but he's fast. Once he gets it going. Speaking of a guy who's fast, Biaka Batuka close to another first down. I think he has one out to the 44-yard line.
See, Michigan State has had a lot of emotion here in the first half. They've played very, very well, but they've missed 2 field goals. That's 6 points. It should be on the board. That's not. Now, if the Wolverines start to kick in here and find their rhythm and get in sync, look out. You've squandered 6, and they start to come. That's a heavily favored Michigan Wolverine ball club. They get going. Look out.
They have not been able to do that, though. They put 3 points on the board early in the last 3 possessions, 6 plays, 4 plays, and 3 plays, and all resulted in punts. But a couple of first downs on this drive already. From the 44, there goes Biaka Batuka. He has a seam. And another first down to the 44-yard line. And I'll tell you what, Tim, if he gets through that tackle, he's gone.
Reggie Garnett, the linebacker, got cut off on the way over.
Well, tomorrow at 1 Eastern, noon Central and Pacific, Brent Crenshaw and 10 of the PGS Best Stars gather in Bermuda for the Maryland Shootout Championship. And at 3 Eastern, 2 Central and Pacific, we'll take you back to the beautiful island of Maui and take you to the final round of the Lincoln Mercury Kapalua International. That's all tomorrow here on ABC Sports. 7-3 here with 7:52 and counting left in the first half. Biaka Batuka, the workhorse so far for the Wolverines. And down to the 37-yard line. Ike Reese and Reggie Garnett both made the tackle. And they're going to work him throughout the day. There's no question Michigan State comes into this game with the worst rushing defense in the Big Ten. So far, they've played very well, but no question they're going to work Biaka Batuka and Chris Howard, the man in there right now.
I'd work Biaka Batuka no matter who I was playing, especially against a team that you feel strongly you can run against.
Greasy to throw on 2nd and 5. Over the middle, complete at the 28-yard line. Amani Toomer, who takes a shot, and now they say no. Now they say he did not make the catch. Well, I thought he had it.
Well, I did too. Watch the umpire. The umpire's right there. Here's Toomer. Just go again. They're working in a zone, so he finds the open area, finds the seam. Now here's the catch.
Oh, there's no question he had that ball.
I think what he's saying, I don't know what they're saying.
That was a catch.
It looked like a catch, then a fumble, and he recovered. They're saying no catch, incomplete. The umpire was there in a hurry.
Well, twice already today, they have thrown flags and picked them up after a discussion.
Sorry Canoe, Terry, came from behind and knocked it loose, but Toomer got it back.
Right. Let's go quickly down to John Spagnola. John?
Yeah, Terry, keep in mind, when his knee touched the ground and he caught the football, the play was over. So even though the ball was jarred loose, it was still a completion.
Absolutely.
But John,
I think they may be reversing that now.
John, that should be a moot point, though, because he even got the ball once it was knocked loose.
Yeah, the play's over. That's right. Now it's judged correctly. They're amending it right now, and it's a correct call.
That's the 3rd time we've seen calls changed in this ball game.
You got to like that. If they get it right and it takes a little time, so what?
Then the ball came loose.
Well, watch the knee. You're right. If he's down right there, he makes the catch. You know, the play is over at that point. But even so, he got the ball back after making the catch and taking the hit. And
right call was eventually made.
Absolutely. They take some time and they reverse the call. And the drive continues. Biaka Batuka looking for room, bouncing off men down to the 25-yard line.
Boy, he is special, isn't he?
Tough, isn't he?
When he was 16 years old, a phys ed teacher asked if he wanted to play on the football team that his high school was forming. They didn't have one before that. He said, "You got to be kidding. I don't want to play that." All of a sudden, they said, "You be there." He was there, and he's been running ever since. Watch this guy, though. Watch how his feet, he can change his direction with so few steps. And he never offers up his body to the tackler. When they do hit him, he just bounces, goes that way, and eventually finds his way free.
The snow starts to fall a little bit heavier. Chris Howard trying the near side. Can't get outside and wrapped up at the 21. And let's take you back to New York. Get a Northwestern Penn State update from John Saunders.
Well, Terry, Darnell Autry may be the best running back in the Big Ten. He's certainly showing some moves here. Cuts it inside, then back to the corner for his 2nd touchdown of the game. 14-0 Northwestern leads. Terry.
Thanks, John. What I want to know is when are they going to be a favorite in a game? You know, they're always the underdog. No one believes in them, and they keep on winning. And 14-0 against Penn State.
Everybody keeps saying it, but that is the greatest story of this football season. And this is the best drive of this ball game for Michigan.
First down at the 21 now. Chris Howard, the lone back. Greasy to the end zone. And knocked out of bounds. It was intended for Mercury Hayes. And good coverage by the secondary of Michigan State. Demetrius Martin got a hand on it to knock it away. And we've got a few players still in the Michigan band. Yeah, there comes Mercury Hayes now, and there is Martin.
Martin's a converted wide receiver, all Big Ten quarterback, 7 interceptions last year. That ball was overthrown. Even if he had caught it, he would have been out of the back of the end zone. Greasy's not nearly as sharp as he was last week.
Yeah, only 5 out of 10 for 34 yards so far for Brian Greasy.
Well, those aren't bad numbers, but he just doesn't look like he's in rhythm.
Howard hit in the backfield, and the ball was loose for a moment. Carl Reeves came up to pop him along with Ike Reese. And they may lose a yard on this play.
Pretty good lick, too, by Carl Reeves. You know, he moved up, become the strong outside linebacker when Travis Reese moved over to offense. So Carl Reeves that time, just like he was supposed to, maintained inside-out leverage, tucked that tail, got the strength out of the arm, the legs, and really gave him a good pop and knocked it loose.
Michigan out of the eye now. Chris Floyd and Biaka Batuka back in there on 3rd down and 10 from the 21. watching Greasy. Over the middle, there was contact. The intended receiver was Hayes, and he wants a flag, but there are none on the ground.
Marvin Wright is saying, hey, I have as much right to that football as anybody does. Hayes did want the interference. That's the first time in a while that we've seen Michigan State go to a cover two too deep. They were locked in man coverage, and Marvin Wright had tremendous coverage that time on Hayes.
Something they really don't want to do much against Mercury Hayes and Amani Toomer.
But they're mixing it up. Michigan doesn't know when they'll come out in that.
38-yard field goal attempt now. Rennie Hamilton. The junior on a Boca Raton, and here's the fake. Trying to throw back to Hamilton. Incomplete. Jay Remersma, the holder, and they try to throw it back to the kicker, Hamilton.
Doesn't have much pressure. I think the adrenaline flow was too much, though. He had him down in the corner of the end zone for a touchdown and just overthrew him, let him out of bounds.
Well, Remersma, a former quarterback, too, and he just did overthrow Hamilton. But John Spagnuolo had a good point during the break. This is not exactly Bo Schembechler football of old. You know, third and short, and they end up with a fake field goal.
3 yards in a cloud of dust with Bo.
Mark Renaud, the back off tackle for about 2 yards, and we'll take this time to go up to New York and check in with John Saunders.
Coming up on the Prudential Halftime Report, we'll have scores and highlights. We'll hear from Ohio State's John Cooper. Should he be #1? And top coaches on top issues in college football. It's coming up.
All right, John, and obviously the polls shaken up a bit this week. Thursday night, Virginia's win over Florida State.
Isn't it amazing, though, how things can change so rapidly? There's Cooper at Ohio State. You know, the last couple of years, he was under pressure to keep his job. People thought he was out the gate. Now he's got the best team in the country, according to some.
Go to the tight end, Josh Kerr, who drags tacklers up to the 38-yard line. And I'm going to tell you something, Tim. We've spent a couple of days talking to everyone here at Michigan State, and they talk about how banged up the backs are, and they are. They're injured. I mean, Renaud is coming off a knee, and you've got Scott Green with a hamstring, and all the backups are banged up. But they're certainly not playing like it here in the first half.
No, they're really not. Josh Kerr making that catch. You know, he moved in as a starter last year when Bob Organ suffered a fracture. But Tony Banks is playing well. The offensive line has given him time, and even the injured backs, the running backs, everybody's got a little nick somewhere, but they're all coming up big here.
Travis Reese now in at fullback. Former linebacker leading the way for Mark Renaud, who has a hole up to the 47-yard line, maybe about 2 yards short of a first down.
You know, as you look at this, Terry, you know, Renaud was out last week. Scott Green was hobbled. So Michigan State ran for only 49 yards against Wisconsin. I mean, the Spartans have been held under 50 yards 3 times this year. They just have not had a running game. So now they're going up against Michigan, which has a very solid defense. And I'm telling you, they're having their way right now. They're running the football. They've been able to. They should have more 6 points on the board. They've missed 2 field goals. But, I mean, they're working effectively.
And doing it with balance, too. Keeping Michigan on their heels. Tyrone Crenshaw now, the redshirt freshman, in at back, and here he goes. Not going anywhere. Welcome to the game, Tyrone. Jason Horn in a hurry.
There was a mix-up on that play. That just was not run the way it was drawn up. Looked like Banks had to reach for him, and he wasn't there on time.
Well, the Nittany Lions have put a touchdown on the board, so it's 14-7. Up in Evanston.
See the comment by Joe Paterno this week. He said Northwestern reminds him of some of his good teams. How'd you like to be fun for Joe this year?
Exactly. I'm not sure I'd love that comment. 3rd and 5, Muhammad in motion, Banks to throw. Flushed out now. Mason with the catch to the 37. And another big play for the Spartan offense. Clarence Thompson on the coverage and the tackle, but they move the chains.
Boy, we talked about his mobility. This is the first time in a month he's been healthy with that ankle. But look at this, where the mobility buys him time. Mason skates with him. Now, Mason was originally coming in on the hook inside, saw that he was scrambling, moved back outside, and went in the same direction, made himself available for that pass, and they moved the chains.
Gain of 18, and it's down at the 38-yard line of the Wolverines now. Tony Banks, 12 out of 16 for 128 yards. A lot of success in the air. The pitch back to Scott Green, who's at the tailback spot. Fights his way to the 26-yard line. And they move the chains again. Another first down for the Spartans. Don't forget, at the conclusion of today's game, we'll be selecting a genuine Chevrolet Most Valuable Player of the game from each team. To date, Chevrolet has contributed almost $5.5 million to the scholarship funds of America's colleges and universities. And so far, Tony Banks not a bad choice. 7-3 Spartans, under 2 minutes now in the first half. Gerardo Renaud with room down to the 17-yard line. And Tim, it's been a while since you've seen holes in that Michigan defense like we're seeing today.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. Right now, Michigan State is breaking all of its own tendencies. What they've been doing in the past, they're not doing today. Here, it looked like a passing situation. Boom, they come back with the draw. The thing opens up. Now it brings up second down and short. I say a passing situation because they've been throwing on first down. So now Michigan State was expecting a pass again on first down. They've done it the last 3 firsts, and they run the draw.
Nice block by Dave Mudge and the tight end Kerr on that last play. 2nd and 1 now at the 17. Carter in motion. Renaud. A lot of room. Bounces inside the 10 to the 9. And right now they're making it look easy on the ground.
I know Gary Tranquil, the offensive coordinator. I've known him a long time, and he sat there yesterday and he said, I don't know if Renaud can play or not. He's got that sore knee. And I definitely am going to take him out a lot because I want him at the end of the ball game. But here's a guy, high school All-American. He ran for over 4,000 yards, 64 touchdowns in high school. He looks like he's back in high school today. He's having fun. He's bouncing around, and I don't see anything that looks like a sore knee.
1:11 left in the first half, and not many in their seats. We step away to take a look at some other ABC programming. We'll be back in a moment. Either the Illini against the Buckeyes or Iowa and Northwestern. Some of you may see Nebraska and Kansas. So you get a look at the #1 team in the country. There's your Pac-10 games available as well, and check with your local cable operator to see what games are available on pay-per-view. That's next Saturday at 3:30 Eastern time here on ABC. Current drive, 8 plays, 69 yards. More importantly, first and goal for the Spartans inside the 10.
You know, one thing the coaches did tell us yesterday, this offensive line totally rebuilt from last year, lost 2 NFL picks in Brian DeMarco and Shane Hanna, but they say this offensive line has come together, and right now they're dominant on this drive.
They've had trouble inside the 20 so far today. A couple of missed field goals. Renaud bobbles. Bowls his way for maybe 2 down to the 7. And it'll be 2nd and goal from there. Chuck Winters came up to make the stop.
Terry, coming into this game, Michigan State inside the 20-yard line had scored 24 out of 28 times, 16 touchdowns and 8 field goals. Today, obviously, we've talked about it, but they've missed 2 field goals and have actually struggled in the red zone.
Green and Renaud out of the eye now. Play action under pressure is Banks, and he threw it away. He had Scott Green open, but he was going down. Michigan came with the blitz.
I think Banks is hurt again.
Chuck Winters came in and just leveled him.
Banks is shaken up a little bit. And that would be a travesty if that happened after all the rehab he's had and getting back to be healthy again.
Well, he's staying in, so
the crowd starting to chant Tony. They know how important he is.
The senior out of San Diego. That man knows how important he is, too.
He was the best junior college quarterback in the country. His weakness coming to state was inexperience.
The give to Green, who fights his way. Can he get there? Yes. Touchdown, Michigan State. Green, who's had the hamstring problems. They didn't even know if he'd suit up and play today. But in there on every series and puts the Spartans up 13-3. The extra point still to come. 14-3 with 30 seconds left in the first.
Do you believe it?
Don't tell me you're not surprised.
There is just a magical feeling in Spartan Stadium today.
Michigan State 3-1 when they lead at halftime this year, and better than 70,000 to help them hold the lead.
Watch Green's power, though. He's the hammer guy. All of a sudden, it just breaks free, and at the goal line, he just has to break a tackle. 806 career yards. He's never fumbled. He's 5'11", but he's 230 pounds. And watch, he uses all that when he gets down to the goal line. Doesn't have that great explosion, but look at the bang here. Boom, bang, spins, got off the tackler, and fought his way into the end zone. That is a big-time run, and I think everybody now can feel the momentum and the excitement that Michigan State's carrying right now. He's always been a tough runner and a very good receiver. 42 receptions last year. He's got a bunch this year. Out of New York. That pulled hamstring doesn't look like it's bothered him now.
No, sir.
Get that adrenaline flow, and it'll make you heel in a hurry.
11 plays, 79 yards, and 4:20 taken off the clock. But more importantly, only 30 seconds left in the first half. And I'll tell you what, we hope for a good game, but I did not expect this at all. Michigan State at 4-3-1 coming into this game, 2-2-1 in the Big Ten, and I think the Wolverines are a little bit shocked.
Well, you have to go all the way back to 1967, the last time Michigan State won 2 out of 3 from Michigan. They're trying to do that here today.
Yeah, upset them a couple of years ago. You're right.
2 years ago they won. They lost last year 40-20, but they want to win here today so these seniors can go out and say, hey, we beat Michigan 2 out of 3 years.
Gardner with the line drive squib kick. Taken down at the 12. And brought back still on his feet. Clarence Williams out to the 39-yard line. There's a flag right about the 37. And Williams with a good return.
This is an illegal blocking bag.
That's exactly what it is.
And it happened way upfield by the lineman.
In fact, halfway across the field as well.
Holding on a receiving team during the run back, 10 yards from the spot, first down.
Looked like he tackled him from behind.
Now,
so you can take your pick.
You could call it holding or whatever you'd like. But backs him up to the 26. We'll see if we see it. Should be on the right side of your screen if we do have it.
No, I think we missed it already. There's 62 comes up from behind and makes a tackle. It's a good run back, though. Yeah.
But first and 10 at the 26, and they're going to hand it off to Biakabatuka. Fights his way for maybe a yard and driven back. This is a defense that is just beside itself to this point. I mean, this is not what they have been able to do in the last few weeks. They have struggled, and now against Michigan, the number 7 team in the country, the defense of the Spartans holding up, and they lead here in East Lansing 14-3 at the half.
College football on ABC Sports, brought to you by Chevrolet Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road, and Burger King, where you can get your burger's worth. Stay tuned for the Prudential Halftime Report after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
The skies have been gray all day long here in East Lansing, and it was a dark first half for Michigan. 14-3, Spartans at the half. Terry Gannon, Tim Brandt, and John Spagnola. And it was a Michigan State team that really dominated defensively and was able to move the ball offensively. And how about Derek Mason with the 70-yard punt return?
Got a couple of blocks, but I tell you, he did most of this on his own. And when Sweat 44 right there got even with him, he just took off, took it to another level. That was a great return by Mason. Then watch this, just before the half. Here they go, and they open it right up the middle. No question about that. Scott Green powered his way in. Once he got to the goal line, was the first time he got touched. Used that 230 pounds and just banged across that goal line.
And it was 3rd and goal from the 7, and they had 3 receivers, and he was the lone back. So a little bit of a surprise. You look at the statistics at halftime, And Michigan has really dominated on the ground. Remember, the team that has won the ground game has won every game since 1969, but 128 yards in the air for the Spartans.
And you know that 128 passing yards is very much like a running game because they're just really short, high percentage passes. I mean, they aren't going to take anything away there. They've simplified their offense. They're hitting those little dink and dunk passes. They're running the ball effectively. And look, this is what we said had to be done in the beginning. Biaka-Batuka's been held to 87 yards. They pressure Banks. Well, they got 1 sack and 4 hurries, but not really big, and they don't have any big plays. But look at Michigan State. 96 yards rushing already. They've protected Banks fairly well. They've limited the turnovers to 0. They've had 3 penalties. That hurt them, and they've got 2 missed field goals. That's 6 points that really should be on that scoreboard for the Spartans.
Amani Toomer only 2 catches in the first half. Mercury Hayes, none. So they've really held them down. And take a look.
We've got everything going today. We've got Michigan State winning. We got the crowd going crazy. We got snow. And now, Shy, will you marry me? John. They're here in the stadium today. I tell you, this game has everything.
No word on what the answer is at this point.
And then while that was flying around, look at the snow started to fall again.
Doug Wilson, what a great shot from our director, Tony Tortorisi, our producer in the truck. And, yeah, we've had snow all day.
They just honored the 1965 Michigan State football team. They said the best in the land. And just as the Michigan State team came out of the locker room, out of the tunnel and onto the field, that 65 team came running down, and they started embracing the players. Very emotional here today.
I'd like to suit up a couple of those guys.
I bet they can still play.
Well, the defense has been outstanding for Michigan State at a point where they've really struggled this year. After the field goal by Michigan on their first series, 3 punts, turned it over on downs, and then the first half ran out. So they have held Michigan in check through much of the first half.
And you know what's interesting is Brian Griese, who was so sharp last week, really doesn't look like he's in rhythm. His numbers aren't bad, but I mean, he's just not stepping up and throwing with the authority that he had last week. I think part of that's the Michigan State game plan. You know, they're showing him some different things. They're giving Griese different looks. They come out and they look like you're in a 2 deep, then they walk the safety up, and all of a sudden they're in cover 3.
Mercury Hayes and Clarence Williams back deep for Michigan. They won the toss and deferred to the second half. And the ball falls off the tee. It has been windy as well. I think it's about 24 degrees, the scoreboard said moments ago, so it's getting warmer, Tim.
Yeah, but the wind chill's still down in single digits.
Only 2 degrees warmer in the beginning of the game. And the second half is underway here in East Lansing. Williams drops it at his 10. And he is dropped right at the 10. Bill Green was there first for Michigan State, and not the way the Wolverines wanted to start the second half. And let's take you down to the sidelines. Check in with John Spagnuolo. John?
Coming out of halftime, I spoke to both head coaches. Lloyd Carr said we have to shore up the punt team, and we have to convert our third downs a lot better than we have. Nick Saban, on the other hand, said we have to raise our level of play. Michigan's going to play a lot better in the second half. We have to do that, too. Back to you.
Yeah, John, I think he's right, too. Everyone expects Michigan to come out with full force here in the second half. Biaka-Batuka, the first carry, fighting his way up to about the 15-yard line. So a hard-fought gain of about 5 yards on first down.
But again, look at the pursuit. Look at all the green jerseys around Biaka-Batuka. Every time he touches it, they converge. Now look at the numbers on Griese aren't bad. 5-10, 34 yards, no interceptions, but no touchdowns. And he hadn't been, like he's in rhythm yet. Biaka-Batuka, 87 yards. He had over 100 in the first quarter last week.
And you don't see Mercury Hayes under the receiving category. No catches in the first half. 2nd and 5 after the gain of 5. Tim Biaka-Batuka on the right side. Bouncing across the 20 to the 21, and I believe he has a first down.
You know, and I think that's exactly what's going to take place here in the second half. Michigan's going to come out, and they're just going to start pounding. They're going to start banging you up front, use that size differential that they have there. Their offensive line is much bigger than Michigan State's. They're going to try to wear them down.
And Lloyd Carr went to his star halfback in the first half quite often, 87 yards in the first half. But they couldn't punch one in the end zone. Here he is again, falling up to the 24. And and perhaps a gain of 2 or 3.
You know, his high school coach brought him down to Ann Arbor in 1992 to go to the Michigan summer camp. Offensive coordinator Fred Jackson saw him there and says, hey, this guy can shake and bake and move his shoulders ahead of his feet. He's quick. Says, we'd like to get him down here. They did.
Unassuming, too. You talked to him, you know, the story, he went to a Lions game not too long ago, and people were asking for his autograph, and he was saying, no, I'm not him. It's not me.
Great story. His family moved from Zaire to Montreal.
Here he is again. Hopped, but still going forward and up to the 33-yard line. So some yards after the initial hit. Sorry, Canoe made the stop, but he paid for it a little bit.
Fred Jackson says he can shake his shoulders and get his feet under his body quicker than anybody he has ever seen. Look at him. Look at the cutback against the pursuit. If you can cut back against the pursuit, you're increasing your chances threefold that you're going to make big positive yards.
Oh, you saw Canoe, too, the free safety, come up and make the hit, but he was going backwards at the end of that play.
Yeah, there he is now, over 100.
Yeah. 109 yards on the afternoon. Chris Howard in for him, and he gets the call here. Bouncing outside, across the 45, up to the 49-yard line. They changed back, same result. And Michigan moving the ball on the first series of the second half.
You know, the return of Chris Howard from that broken hand takes all the pressure off Biaka Batuka. I mean, this guy is a very tough, quick running back. He runs a 4.4. He's 205 pounds. You bring him in as a change of pace, takes all the pressure off Biaka Batuka and just makes things easier.
Demetrius Martin, the cornerback, shaken up on that play. He comes out for Michigan State. The first down at the 48-yard line. Hayes in motion. Howard behind hands. Dropped at the line of scrimmage. Number 18, Marvin Wright, made the hit. Junior on a Saginaw, Michigan. And the number 2 tackler on this team you mentioned earlier, Tim, also a big play man, too. He caused 3 fumbles in the last 4 games.
Watch this, though. Watch 18 come flying into the picture. Here you are. You're playing safety. All right, they get the snap. Everything's going to your right as a defensive player. Now, here comes the cutback. There's 18. Boom. Take him down right away. Marvin Wright, 6'1", 218-pound junior.
On the roll, and Greasy just nailed, but he gets it off to Riemersma, the tight end. And a good gain of about 8 up to the 43-yard line. I'll tell you what, Greasy slow getting up, but now fine. He really was crunched.
Have you noticed how quiet the crowd has gotten right here? Well, you know, the first thing Nick Saban did as head coach here at State was address the crowd at halftime of the basketball game against Michigan last winter. He promised to restore the football program here to glory and pleaded with the crowd to be the best, loudest fans in America. He needs them right now.
Well, they were terrific in the first half. Need him here on 3rd and 1. Biaka Batuka now back in. Led by Riemersma, the tight end. He's got the first down and more, down to the 40-yard line. No tricks there. Send your tight end straight up through the line, and he's going to lead Biaka Batuka. And don't forget, Monday night, Deion Sanders and the Cowboys hosting Rodney Peete and the Philadelphia Eagles, NFC East battle. That's at 9 o'clock Eastern time, 8 o'clock Central. And you can catch it Monday night on ABC's Monday Night Football. Has some great matchups this year on Monday Night Football, and Deion's stirring some things up.
Sure is. Played well against Atlanta. Of course, Philadelphia's been on a roll.
Biaka Batuka gets away from one man, but not away from Carl Reeves. Dropped for a loss back at the 43.
And Marvin Wright was there again to assist. They're bringing the safety a lot.
Reeves, a junior on Oxford, Michigan, and he has been in the backfield quite often this afternoon. 3rd leading tackler on this team.
I'll tell you this, Reeves, Garnett, and Reese are all playing well, and they're getting a lot of support from the safety, Marvin Wright.
A loss of 2, and it brings up 2nd and 12. And Riemersma's going to throw to Hayes. Incomplete. He never bought the fake. Ryan Eccles was there step for step with Mercury Hayes. And we've seen some tricks from the Wolverines today.
Yeah, we have, and that's a good one because I'll tell you, Michigan State came up, they had 8 guys up front. So you think pass is the way to go. Look at all the green jerseys. So here it comes on the reverse, and here's your big Reamersma again, former quarterback, the tight end. He throws, this is a pretty good pass here, just well defended. That brings up 3rd down and long. But look at this, boom, falling off balance, reaching behind him. Eccles just knocked it away at the last moment.
Snow's getting heavier, crowd's getting louder. 3rd and 12, Greasy to Hayes, his first catch of the afternoon. It's short of the first down, and there's a flag on the play. Needed to get inside the 30-yard line. Ray Hill, the right cornerback out of Detroit, was there on the coverage.
It's against Michigan. Offensive pass interference.
Pass interference on the offense. 15 yards, previous spot, repeat, 3rd down.
So it backs up Lloyd Carr and the Wolverines. It was 3rd and 12. And they're going to bring them all the way back to the 43-yard line of Michigan. And yes, folks, it's cold. Be glad you're watching inside somewhere.
And it's starting to snow harder. Starting to lay on the field a little bit. See if it affects the footing. It's a little bit unusual. 4 penalties, 45 yards. It's a well-disciplined team. Very few mistakes for the most part.
So instead of 4th and 12, it goes back to 3rd and 27 at the 43-yard line. Greasy, straight drop. Hit as he throws and incomplete. Hayes was there, but Ryan Greasy was hit by Chris Smith, the defensive tackle, and had no chance to get it to Mercury.
Chris Smith, what a great story he is, and what a great pressure he put that time on Greasy. Chris Smith, big article in the paper about him today. He grew up dreaming of playing one day for Michigan State. He said his family, they were all Michigan fans, and for some reason he said he just couldn't see that helmet on his head. He wanted green all the way. He made a huge play there.
Everybody up front for the Spartans right now. Derek Mason is back deep, and they drop back in cover. Mason lets it go. And this is going inside the 15 down to the 13-yard line.
Bad mistake there. One of the 4 don'ts of the kicking game. Do not let the ball hit the ground. He just lost 15 yards.
It's a big day in the Big Ten, and here's some of the action elsewhere. Wisconsin losing to Purdue, and Penn State now closer to Northwestern. It was 14-0 and 14-7. And the Pac-10 scores. ABC game, Stanford on top of USC at the half, and that is obviously a crucial game for the Trojans in terms of their Rose Bowl hope. I bet it's not snowing out at the Coliseum.
I bet you're right. Starting to stick a little bit on the field here, though.
Mark Renaud, the back to the left side, gain of about 3 on first down for Michigan State as they take over after the long drive by Michigan. It was an 11-play drive, and it took almost 5.5 minutes off the clock. 4 first downs, but they came up short. They had a punt away. And let's go down to John Spagnola for a moment. Spags?
I had an opportunity to talk to Tony Banks before the game. I said, hey, for a guy from San Diego, why aren't you wearing a glove today? And he said, I wore one last week, and we lost, and I'm never wearing one again. Looks like his luck is on the right side so far today.
John, it may not have had anything to do with his throwing, but athletes are superstitious, huh? Renaud to the outside and a big gain up to the 30-yard line. And a first down for the Spartans.
You know, the more I watch this guy, the more I like him a lot. Mark Renaud is not a big player. He's only 5'10", 180 pounds. Just a will-o'-the-wisp. Sophomore. Watch this, though. This guy reads well. He takes the pitch. Now, he's already looking for the hole. Cuts inside the blocker. Looking again. Now, watch this cut. Boom. Little sidestep. Avoids the tackle and holds on to it well.
55 yards on the day. 14 carries for Renaud. They didn't even know whether he could go very much today. First down out of the eye, and he's not going anywhere right now. Big number 96, William Carr. No surprise there.
Boy, he's had a terrific season. You know, he's been in double-digit tackles the last couple of weeks. He's played some offense. He's excited about that, but watch this, though. The penetration. See, the guard pulls. He comes off his hip. Nobody blocks him. He makes the tackle. That's a quick release out of that stance, boy. He got across that line of scrimmage in a heartbeat.
Well, not a bad combo, too, in terms of William Carr, Jason Horn. Came in with 26 tackles for loss, almost 160 yards behind the line. And not much room, again, along the left side of the line for a nod. Stacked up right at the line of scrimmage and driven back.
It looks like Michigan State trying to shorten the game. They're running the ball, trying to milk the clock, but they had a lot of success with that little short passing game early on. Surprised they haven't gone back to it. Now here's a definite passing down with 3rd and 15.
7:34 and counting here in the 3rd. And Banks is going to operate out of the gun. A lot of time, and he goes to Scott Green out of the backfield. Up to the 34-yard line. Well, nowhere near a first down, but it at least gives him some room to punt. Scott Green, one of the favorite targets out of the Michigan State backfield. And Amani Toomer back deep for the Wolverines right about the 26-yard line. And you have a feeling it's about time for Toomer to come up with something big here. Milani, 44-yard average on the day. High punt. Toomer at his own 25. Works his way to the outside, but driven out of bounds at the 29-yard line. So good coverage by the Michigan State Spartans and some extracurriculars along the sideline.
You know, that's stupid if it's against Michigan State because they covered well. Let's see who gets the unsportsmanlike here. Boy, emotion sometimes gets in the way of concentration. You don't want to lose your composure offensively or defensively.
Dead ball. Personal foul on a kicking team. 15 yards. First down.
Talk about emotion getting in the way of concentration instead of good coverage and a good play. Now they have the ball up, and Michigan will get it in great field position.
Lloyd Carr happy, but Nick Saban's got to be going nuts at that penalty. College football on ABC Sports, brought to you by Chevrolet. The cars and trucks 36 million people depend on every day. Genuine Chevrolet. And Amstel Light, a light beer for a heavy world. On a day that you used to love as a kid, huh? To go out in the backyard and play a little football.
I love it as a grown-up. This is beautiful.
Well, they say you've never grown up, Tim Brandt, I'll tell you. And I don't want to ever grow up. Well, this is...
Terry, you said it during one of the commercials. It's one of those days where you feel something special is going to happen.
You really do. This is a Big Ten day here at East Lansing. Great weather, football weather. Biaka Batuka fights his way across midfield down to the 48-yard line, maybe the 47 of Michigan State. And let's check in with John Spagnola down on the field. Spikes?
Hey, Terry and Tim, usually when a defense yells, watch the draw, they're talking about a running back carrying the football. Not in the case of Reggie Garnett. Take a look at this. He's an accomplished artist, and he has done some etchings. This is an etching he did of George Perlis, who just resigned or was fired as coach last year. He's now doing radio for Michigan State. Pretty good stuff, though. He is a very talented guy, don't you think?
Boy, absolutely. That's gorgeous.
That is. Can we get one done to you on the sideline there, Spence?
I'm having him work on it right now, as a matter of fact. When the offense is on the field, we'll see if he can do one for us.
A little busy at the moment.
Hey, John, how cold is it down there? And I don't mean specifically the temperature, but I mean, it looks like a pretty good wind blowing down there.
I tell you the truth, I think it's warmed up a bit. I don't know, maybe it's just because the game is so hot and emotional, but it just seems to me that the flurries are just drifting down. It's not as windy as it was earlier. And I think that, it's actually gotten a little warmer here.
Well,
believe it or not.
You're right. It has gotten 2 degrees warmer. It's now 24
instead of 22.
See, it's getting downright balmy.
I think he's been out there too long.
2nd and 1. Straight ahead. Greasy fighting his way. He's close. Depends on the mark. And they spot it favorably for the Wolverines. about this offense for Michigan, though, Tim, today, you know, it's an offense that has been able to run the football, but today they've struggled a bit, and at times have moved the ball, but not been able to cash in.
Yeah, no, there's no question about that. You know, the thing that's been impressive to me, though, is Biaka Patuka. He hasn't broken the big play, but he's well over 100 yards now. I mean, he seems to be very effective, and I think the game plan is going to turn out to be that Michigan just wears down Michigan State, or at least that's what they're trying to do.
Play action, Greasy up top, has a man and knocked away. Sorry, Canoe with the big.
How about that?
Boy, how about getting a hand in at the last moment? What a play. Mercury Hayes, the intended receiver, and if he gets him the ball a little bit earlier, he may get the completion.
Good play action. You think it would try to stop the linebackers, and here comes Garnett, 22. But watch Sorry Canoe come out of nowhere. Number 6, the safety, comes running over. Look at this, because that's basically a touchdown. He was behind the secondary. Canoe says, hey, Canoe, not for you. Mercury.
Richards in motion on 2nd and 10. Okay. Straight ahead, Biaka Patuka for about 3 yards. When do we break out the Christmas tunes up here? Don't forget, next Saturday, 3:30 Eastern on ABC's College Football. There's your lineup. A couple of Big Ten games that you may get. Illinois and Ohio State, Iowa and Northwestern, or Nebraska and Kansas, or our Pac-10 game. That's all next week. Check your local listings for the game in your area and call your cable operator for the games available on pay-per-view.
I'm going to see Nebraska next week for the first time this year. Be out there with Keith Jackson, but I see where the Huskers had 73 points today.
Yep, against Iowa State. 3rd and 6. Here comes the crowd. Long count, and here come the Spartans. They pick it up and complete to the tight end, Remersma. He fights his way for a first down inside the 35.
Terry, you were all over that. I lunged forward. I saw Garnett coming. I thought he was coming free. But watch how they do pick him up. Watch number 22 coming in. Now here comes Greasy. Here comes 22. It looks like he's free. He's going to get after him. They do pick it up and went to the big tight end. This play was successful when the game began, and they got away from it a little bit. Michigan State took it away from him with the safety, but now they're starting to go back to the tight end a little bit.
Now Remersma 6'6", 252, and being covered by Sorry Canoe, only 190 pounds.
He's got 4 catches today.
Motion early though. Here goes Biaka Patuka inside the 30, stopped right there.
Remersma 4 catches, but he's 0 for 2 passing.
That's a good point on the fake field goal, and then the trickster. You saw that Nebraska score a moment ago. Top 10 certainly will change, and Andy Warfel did not even start today for the Florida Gators.
How about Peyton Manning? 13 touchdown passes in the last 4 games.
But when you talk Heisman, how high do you put him in that race?
I love Peyton Manning. I think that people are looking down on him because he's a sophomore. But if I had a vote, I think I'd vote for him.
2nd and 5, Greasy and Mercury Hayes. Drill at the 26. Hung onto the football, though.
Boy, congratulations to George Welsh and the Cavaliers of Virginia, too, with that big upset the other night over Florida State. That helps the Atlantic Coast Conference immensely.
It really does. 29 straight wins for Florida State. Look, Stanford up by a touchdown on USC. Had John Cooper on at halftime with John Saunders, and it's my feeling that Ohio State, with the schedule they've had, should be #1 at this point, too. Obviously, it takes a few losses by those top few teams to get there, but they have played the best schedule of anyone. 3rd and 2, and Spartans came a little bit early. And again, the yellow flag, the nemesis of Nick Saban, as Chris Smith got across early.
You know, in that article we were talking about earlier today, which was so complimentary to Chris Smith and how he loves the green and loves being a Michigan State player, he said last year in front of 100,000 people, he jumped off sides a couple of times, and he said it was embarrassing. But he says, you know, if I've got to do that occasionally to get a jump, then I'm going to do it.
Well, it cost him here, though. I mean, it's not worth it here. I mean, here you go. First down now at the 21-yard line. A big 3rd down was coming up. 5 penalties for 35 yards now against Michigan State. Biaka Patuka driving, still up and driven back.
Chris Smith on the tackle this time. I agree, his timing wasn't good that time. I mean, if you're going to do it and jump off to get the jump, better pick your spots.
Smith along with Carl Reeves driving the Michigan running back to the 18-yard line. That was his forward progress where it stopped.
Saw that wedding proposal a little bit earlier. Chris Smith getting married July 20th to Lisa.
Congratulations, Chris. Second and 7. Spartans coming again. On the roll. Wide open is Remersma. Inside the 10 to the 7. The second time in this drive that Michigan State has come with the blitz. Greasy has picked it up and gone to his big tight end.
You know, we talked about a little bit of snow on the field. I don't know if that was a factor this time, but there's no question the safety, Marvin Wright, lost his footing and slipped. See if you can pick it up. This is Greasy now. Again, it's play action. He goes on the waggle, goes away from protection. Remersma was open because the safety fell. You can see the left hand of your screen. He's still down. He gets up and makes the tackle. Marvin Wright slipped on that play.
First and goal at the 7. Biakabatuka straight ahead inside the 5. Wrapped up at the 4-yard line.
It's a time-consuming drive. Very methodical.
On the previous drive, Michigan took almost 5.5 minutes off of the clock and then had to punt it away after the penalty. Sent them all the way back to their own 43-yard line, and again, they're taking a lot of time off. 10 plays, 54 yards in over 5 minutes. But they haven't been able to make it pay. Looking for the payoff here. Second and goal from the 3. And look straight ahead, the big man.
Look who it is. It's the big guy, Carr, but he lost the ball. Touchdown.
The ball was loose in the end zone as William Carr went straight ahead. Michigan State upset, but it is a touchdown for the Wolverines.
You tell me that didn't look like the refrigerator Perry? Oh, man, just jam it in there. Let me tell you something. Carr is a load. He's 6 feet, 270 pounds. Watch 96 in the fullback spot, straight ahead. Here comes 280, 90 pounds. Bam, just carrying green jerseys in. Ball was loose, but he had already broken the plane.
Man, he's already celebrating on the bottom of that pile.
What Michigan done? 273 pounds.
Straight ahead and try to stop me, huh?
And we asked him, is it 270, 275, or 280? He says, depends whether I have a big breakfast.
The Wolverines going for 2 now. 14-9 is the score. Trying to get within a field goal. Greasy. Time. Over the middle and complete. And the conversion is good. Mark Campbell on the catch, and so it's 14-11 now within a field goal with 1:31 left in the third, Tim.
There's that tight end again. They working free. It's been paying off for him all day.
The Wolverines with some juice now. Momentum has switched a little bit, and this crowd will have to get back into it. These two teams have hooked up for some classics in the past, and in 1990, Michigan was #1 in the country, and Dino Hackett's touchdown run gave Michigan State the 28-21 lead. Michigan came storming back. The touchdown pass to Derek Alexander in the final seconds. They go for 2 to remain #1. Desmond Howard tripped in the end zone. Was it interference? No flag on the play, and the Spartans gained the 1-point victory.
Good defense. No flags, always good defense.
Well, this one's shaping up to be much the same. 14-11. The Spartans with the 3-point lead. The wind picking up just a little bit right now.
You know, that play Desmond Howard said he wasn't worried about the trip or the interference. He thought he caught the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And that the ground forced it loose. He thought he had possession. It should have been good.
I'll tell you what, and it's very close. He may have had possession of that football. He came down and hit the ground. That's when it came loose. All academic. And now Jay Feely will have a holder as he is set to kick off. 1:31 left in the third quarter.
Well, Terry Gannon, how about this? 16 minutes and 31 seconds left in the game, and it's 14-11 Michigan State. Who would have thunk it?
Not you or I. Line drive kick again towards the corner. And Derek Mason watches it roll out of the end zone. The Spartans will have it 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. An important series for the Spartans now. They have been stopped here in the second half. They have not put any points on the board here in the second half. They need to sustain something, get something going here.
I think they have to go back, and I'm sure Gary Tranquil will, along with Nick Saban, go back to that short, high-percentage passing game that worked so effectively for him in the first half. You know, set themselves up, get some yardage on 1st down, and then they set up 2nd and short, 3rd and short.
They come out with a backfield of Garrett Gould, the fullback, and Mark Renaud, the tailback. Tony Banks under center, 1st and 10 from the 20. Delay, and down goes Banks. That play never looked like it was developing right for the Spartans. At the 6-yard line, Banks is sacked by David Bowens.
Play just took too long to develop.
Yep.
You know, Michigan comes hard. They get pressure. Even up front when there's not a blitz, they get pressure. But you watch this time, this play's taking forever. Even Banks is waiting for the reverse fake. All right, there's the fake. He says, wait a minute. Bowens is on top of him. He got there almost as quickly as the receiver did on the reverse fake.
A loss of 11.
They've got to go back to the 1-2-3 throw, quick underneath and out patterns.
Bowens, a freshman out of Pontiac, Michigan. Michigan High School Player of the Year, senior year of high school. And now the Spartans want to take some time to talk this over. They are backed up inside the 10 at the 9-yard line. And don't forget it, tomorrow at 1 Eastern, noon Central and Pacific, Ben Crenshaw and 10 of the PGA's best stars gather in Bermuda for the Merrill Lynch Shootout Championship. And then at 3 Eastern, 2 Central and Pacific, we go back to the beautiful island of Maui. Roger Twibel out there, and it looks a heck of a lot better out there in terms of weather than it does here. Final round of the Lincoln Mercury Kapalua International. That's all tomorrow here on ABC Sports. You look at what they have done today. Michigan 165 yards on the ground, and Michigan State only 50, and that's been the story since 1969.
That's pretty indicative of really the way any game goes. If you're able to run effectively, you usually win the ball game. Number one, it melts the clock. It opens up the passing game. And if you look at this, Michigan State has been unable to move at all.
Shut out in the second half. So it's 2nd and 21. After Nick Saban called the timeout, Travis Reese now the fullback. Bouncing back inside up to the 14-yard line. A gain of 5, maybe 6.
Boy, now it's white jerseys starting to fly around. You get 4, 5, 6 guys around the ball. I don't know why they stopped sprinting Banks out and hitting those little short passes.
Had a lot of success doing that in the first half. Gia Carter, the wideout, comes back in as the clock runs down here in the third.
Now this has been effective for Michigan State. They go to the 3 wides with a shotgun.
Renaud the only back in the backfield. Banks out of the gun. Rolling. Looking. Across the 20 and out of bounds at the 25. He took a beating and delivered a little bit of punishment as well. We come back. More between the Wolverines and the Spartans after this message and a word from our ABC stations. We head to the fourth quarter. Terry Gannon, Tim Brandt, John Spagnola down on the field, and 4th and 6 for the Michigan State Spartans as they trail 14-11. Chris Solani on for the punt. Amani Toomer standing back at his own 30-yard line.
You know, we have not had in this game any turnovers.
Short punt, and it hits a Michigan man. The ball was loose at the 35. I believe Michigan got it back. And they did.
Ooh,
and you almost went ahead and did it. Boy, a short punt that was almost devastating for the Wolverines. Well, the second half has been dominated to this point by Michigan as you look at the stats after 3 quarters, Tim Grant.
So all you have to do is go right there. Rushing yards, 165 of them. They've dominated, and they're doing what Michigan has done so many times before. Just pound, 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 and eventually wear you out.
Well, they take over 1st and 10 at the 35-yard line. Biakabatuka, the lone back in the backfield. Across the left side, fighting his way and ahead for a gain of about 8. Big gain on 1st down. That will take you to New York. Check in with John Saunders. John?
Terry, Darnell Autry has been the story for Northwestern this year. 23 yards on this carry. Gets it down to the 1. Setting up his own touchdown. 14 touchdowns now in the season. That's a Northwestern record. He has 3 today. 10 consecutive 100-yard games. And he is now the single-season rushing leader at Northwestern. 21-10. Terry.
Thanks, John. Michigan fans not too happy about that score right now. Biakabatuka straight ahead has a 1st down across midfield. Almost lost the football, but into Michigan State territory. And they move the chains. So Northwestern, with a win today, would help solidify what they have done in taking a step to the Rose Bowl. Michigan needs Northwestern to lose another game and to keep on winning to have a shot. And, of course, then would have to beat Ohio State.
Ohio State's still in great shape.
Exactly.
We heard Coach Cooper at halftime. You know the guy. It's a shame that there is not a definitive national championship game. There should be.
Well, there seems to be a lot of talk that the Big Ten and the Pac-10 are going to really have a lot to say after this season about that. Biakabatuka down to the 43-yard line. Stays inbounds, and you look at the remaining schedules for the Wolverines. The big game, of course, against Ohio State after Purdue, Penn State. And Northwestern has Iowa and Purdue. No slouches, but certainly not what they faced in the last couple of weeks. You know, the win over Michigan and then today against Penn State.
You know, you're talking about changes in the future, and I understand there's even going to be a meeting next week. They're going to talk about the Pro Bowl Alliance type thing where they could have a definitive national championship. They've got to. I think it's an embarrassment that this game, Division 1A, is the only one who does not have a national championship in college sports.
I don't think there's any reason it should not. Biakabatuka to the outside. And down to the 34-yard line, and he is doing right now what we expected throughout the day. Biakabatuka left, Biakabatuka right, and move the chains.
Boy, he is such a talent. You know, they thought that there was going to be a drop-off. I mean, there was a time when Tyrone Wheatley and Todd Collins were the stars and Lloyd Carr took Gary Muller's place. They said, wait a minute, you know, we got to find some replacements. But Biakabatuka stepped in, Chris Howard. Eddie Davis is a talent. Clarence Williams, I mean, they just reload. But Biakabatuka, I think, right now is a level above just about everybody else.
We saw Kareem Abdul-Jabbar a couple of weeks ago out on the West Coast. I want to get your thoughts after this play on how those two backs compare. 1st and 10 at the 33. Chris Howard now in as the lone back. Tripped up right at the line of scrimmage, may have fallen ahead for a yard. And don't forget, if time permits, stay tuned for the Thrifty Car Rental post-game report featuring scores and highlights from across the country. That's following our game if time permits. Well, what about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who's had a great year for UCLA, and Biakabatuka here, and how they compare to me?
Well, they're both outstanding runners. There's no question about that. Quickness, I think Biakabatuka is a little bit bigger, and that size is going to help him on the next level when he's playing on Sundays. I think out of the two, I would take Biakabatuka. I mean, he just does so many things, and he's got those quick feet. And again, I've never seen anybody change directions as quickly as he does at full speed.
2nd and 10, and out to Mercury Hayes at the 20-yard line. And the Wolverines are wearing down this defense at this point. They've been on the field a lot throughout the second half. A gain of 13 on the play and another 1st down. And here comes the man back on the field. You look at what he's done in both halves. 87 in the first and already 79 here.
Bottom line is, every time he touches, he's going to get you better than 5 yards. He's going to get almost 6 yards a touch.
Three receivers set. First down. Guess who? Stiff arm. Knocked out of bounds at the 18-yard line. May have gotten to the 17. Only Henry, the junior out of Montreal, knocked him out of bounds.
You know, keep in mind, too, you know, he was banged up for a while this year, and he's just now getting healthy again. He had 783 yards last year. He's over 1,000 yards this year. Of course, he was the guy that was backing up Wheatley, and then when Wheatley got hurt, you know, he came in and he proved that he was certainly able to play on this level and probably on the next as well. We're talking about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Biaka Batuka. If you take either one, you're not going to lose.
No, you can't go wrong. Second down and 8. Straight up the middle this time. A lot of room. Inside the 10, down to the 6. And it looks like a tired Michigan State defense on the field at this point.
And this is something coaches on both sidelines knew before the ball game. I mean, this is an offensive line that is big, strong, and it's powerful. It averages 290 pounds. It's going against a small defensive line. Right now, they're dominated. They have worn them down. And now it's up to Garnett and Reese and Wright and Canoe, the guys in the back, to come up and make some hits. But it's not getting done up front because, quite frankly, it's a mismatch right now.
Not a bad afternoon for number 21. 32 carries for 180 yards. First and goal inside the 6. Fighting his way to the goal line. Did he get there? Yes. Touchdown, Michigan.
He's special. Runyon, Anthony Payne, Marinero, Jansen. Watch the white jerseys fire out and dominate that line. They pull the guard, they pull the tackle. Runyon comes over, throws a key block right there. Then the rest is just strength. You know, I'm not sure he got in. His knee hit on about the 2 before that ball crossed the plane. Watch this. Tell me if his knee doesn't go down first. When he gets to the 2-yard line, his knee's down. Boom. The ball now crosses the plane. Should have been put on the 2.
You're right. Knee was down first. The extra point up and good. So 11:28 left here in East Lansing, and the Wolverines on top by 4. That tradition coming through as the Wolverines now lead 18-14. First time since the first quarter. It was 3-0, and the Spartans then had a 14-3 halftime lead. But that offense, the big offensive line, and Tim Biaka-Batuka wearing down the defense of Michigan State. 9 plays, 65 yards, and a touchdown after 2 minutes and 22 seconds ran off the clock. So Derek Mason back deep to receive the kickoff.
Crowd has gone silent. It's got to be Michigan State now has to be wondering, hey, listen, is it over? I mean, let's get back in this thing. They need to get back and get some offense going here.
Taken inside the 15 at the 13 and back out to the 23-yard line. Marvin Wright bringing it back inside the 25. So the Spartans take over at the 23-yard line and need to get something going. They have not been able to move the ball in the second half.
No, Michigan State only 8 plays in the second half for 23 yards. That is it. I mean, they have been shut down.
And Michigan has broken the 25,000 barrier. How about that? 25,001 points all time. Under 10,000. Brent will always remember when that occurred. Biaka-Batuka. Hussein Muhammad on the catch out at the 27-yard line. So they're throwing now to start this drive. And it's something you've been saying they need to do in the second half.
Absolutely. They got away from this now. They start on first down. They throw it. And look, they set up 2nd and 5, 2nd and 6. You know, that's something that was effective. This drive is really critical for them mentally. A lot of people didn't expect them to be in this ball game now that the Wolverines have a lead. I mean, do they quit? No, they've got to come back if they can get some points here. It's huge.
Out of the eye on 2nd and 5. Mark Renaud. Driven back. Tried to bounce outside but couldn't get there. Rob Sweat, number 44, was there to put him down. They lose yardage. They lost one on the play.
He's going to bring up 3rd and almost 10 again, so they're back where they started.
It's 3rd and 9 now at the 24. Lost actually about 3.5, 4 yards on that play.
Running game has just been non-existent.
Scott Green in the backfield alongside Tony Banks, who operates out of the shotgun. Here they come. On the run to Carter at the 40, complete. And a first down for the Spartans. A gain of 16, and credit the mobility of Tony Banks on that play.
Absolutely, and I would stay there. That's what bought him time in the first half. Banks would get back in the pocket. He'd be able to move. He's got that escapability. Watch this. Here comes the pressure. He feels it, steps up, and says, hey, I'm going to buy some time. The receiver skates with him. By this time, the defenders come off, and they get the first.
Clarence Thompson was on the coverage, but Chuck Winters was coming hard at Tony Banks.
I'd come right back with another pass.
First down at the 40, Muhammad in motion, and there was contact along the line. Now, were the Wolverines drawn off, or did they come across quickly? I believe it's going to go against Michigan. Yep.
Dead ball. Coachman.
That new rule, you can defend that neutral zone. If it forces an offensive guy to move. The defense now is going to have to also pay a penalty, and they did this time.
Yeah, you were never able to make contact as a defender, but now this year, if you cause movement along the offensive line as a defender in the neutral zone, it goes against you.
We used to do that on purpose. We jump in the neutral zone, try to get them to move, because we knew we wouldn't be penalized if we got back on time.
You had all the tricks, you know that?
If you lack talent, you had to know the tricks.
Any way to bend the rules, huh? 1st and 5 after the penalty, and broken up, almost intercepted by Sweat. Josh Kerr, the intended receiver, the tight end. And let's go down for an update from John Spagnola.
Okay, Terry, look, I have Bill Mark Levitz with me. He is going to do a tape delay broadcast of this football game that's going to be sent to Japan. They'll take our feed, and he'll voice over in Japanese, and they'll beam a Big Ten game of the week to Japan. Why don't we let Bill call this play, if you don't mind, Terry? Just step on the side for a second.
ミシガン州立大学のボール、セカンドダウン5ヤード、バンクスはショットガンで、ルノードのハンドオフでタックルされました。ゲインはありません。
Excellent job there. You know, I think if he did it for a couple more plays, I could get the hang of it, guys. I really do. Thanks very much, Bill.
Thanks a lot.
Hey, John, tell him Konnichiwa.
Okay, Konnichiwa.
I understood. Hey, second
Tim,
down.
I didn't know you do that stuff.
Hand off it. I got that much on it. They do that every week.
He said Banks hands off. Jared Irons makes the hit. It'll be 3rd down and long.
Not bad. Every week when the Big Ten game. Beamed over. 3rd and 7. Banks steps up. Complete at the 49 and short of a first down. Derek Mason with the catch. He had to get to the 49-yard line of Michigan, just inside their territory. Charles Woodson on the coverage and a good, strong tackle.
It's going to bring up 4th down and less than 2.
Yeah. What do you want here, Coach?
I think I'd come out, line up the offense, see if I could throw them off sides. And if you don't, go ahead and punt.
No question what the crowd wants. Chris Solani, the punter, nowhere to be found out on the field.
Banks looking up at the play clock, saying, would you hurry up? They're down to 15 seconds already.
So 4th and 1. Maybe the defining play of the second half and perhaps the game with 7:51 and counting.
See, now he's not going to have much time to try to draw him off. Go ahead and run a play.
He's going to throw. To Scott Green. A first down and inside the 45 to the 41.
Oh, what a gutsy call.
On 4th and 1, Nick Saban gambles and then some. Not going with the run, but throwing to his back out of the backfield.
By the time they got to the line of scrimmage, they only had 8 seconds left. No time to try to draw him off. This was a play from the get-go, though. They weren't going to try to draw him off. That play in the flats has been open all day long. Gutsy call to go up in midfield on 4th and less than 2.
And Banks loves to go to Scott Green, dependable receiver. Has the back. First down at the 42. Renaud reverses his field. Away from Carr. And made a lot out of what should have been a loss.
Boy, I tell you what, Banks is the guy that freed him up. He's the guy that threw the block on Carr.
And now it looks like a flag comes in late along the sideline. Winters was involved in the tackle. And this looks like it's again going against Michigan State.
Another personal foul, and I'm telling you, Nick Saban is going to go crazy.
Tim, you know, it's one thing to be drawn off sides, to have movement offensively, but we've seen 2 critical personal fouls along the sidelines, you know, and that's just having some control.
Yeah, there's no question. That is emotion or lack of discipline. But that emotion, as we say, gets in the way of concentration. And twice now, you know, they're so emotional that it's caused them fouls.
Personal foul on the offense. 15-yard penalty. First down.
And what a play it negates. I mean, in the backfield, Renaud having to reverse his field and then making a gain out of what should have been about a 5-6 yard loss.
Yeah, first of all, it's Renaud, but I want you to watch the quarterback, number 12. Here comes the reversal. Now, here comes the big guy, Carr. And look at the block. Just enough block by Banks to throw Carr off. And that let him get around the corner and get the first. Banks, 225 pounds going against 270-pound William Carr, and got the block. Unfortunately for Michigan State, of course, there was the personal foul tied on at the end, so it's first down again, but it's all the way back at the 47.
Yeah, they gained the first down, but it is tacked on after that, so at the 47 of Michigan. Out of the eye. Muhammad in motion. The give to Green. This time a tailback, and he falls ahead for a gain of 3. Rob Sweat, the outside linebacker, in there on the stop. But can you feel some of that emotion, though, that has been drained after that big gain, the first down? They moved the chains a couple of times. 70,000 plus going crazy, and now it's back to normal.
When you've had bad things happen to you, you lose faith quickly. You know, these fans, they didn't really expect Michigan State to give Michigan all they've had today. Now that Michigan came back and has the lead, now they're saying, oh, well, this could be over. But I'll tell you what, this is a good drive by the Spartans.
Gain of 4 on that. So it's 2nd and 6 at the 43. On the roll is Banks. Going up top, he's got Muhammad inside the 5 at the goal line. Stopped just short of the end zone. Chuck Winters on the coverage. Well, what a throw from Banks on the run, Tim.
You've got to believe. Banks again was looking in the flat to play action. He rolled right. Now he looks downfield and he sees his receiver. Now look, the defender fell down, saying, hold on here. There's a mix-up back there. Look, he's wide open, Muhammad. Now all he's got to do is catch the ball, bring it in, off the move. He got it down to 1.
Gain of 42. First and goal from the 1. Reese and Green. It's Green. It's Enzo. Touchdown, Michigan State. And that is as impressive drive as you're going to see all season long. The second half has belonged to the Michigan Wolverines. Michigan State could not get anything going offensively. They go down by 4 and drive it all the way down the field and punch it in.
Boy, you're right. Give the coaches credit. Give the players credit. There's absolutely no quit today in Michigan State.
The extra point good. 21-18 and new life at Spartan Stadium.
Big play on this drive was a 42-yard reception down to Muhammad. Here's why. Look at Woodson. This is senior against freshman. Gives him a little shake and bake, jiggle joints, moves past Woodson, who falls down, and look at him. Muhammad pulls it in at the 1. That could be the biggest play of the game.
42-yard catch. Muhammad down to the goal line. Winters finally made the tackle. But how impressive was that drive? 11 plays, 77 yards. Took more than 5 minutes off the clock to come back after going down for the first time since the first quarter.
How about that catch by Muhammad? The concentration, he bobbled it. He now has 8 catches, 116 yards. And Terry, you're right. That drive was sensational for the Spartans.
And remember, they also had the penalty, a personal foul out of bounds that sent them back 15 yards.
Hey, they went back to the pass. I don't know why they ever got away from it. It's been working for them all day.
Kilmer at the 14. Still up to the outside. And drives up to the 44. A little help from the Spartans defender.
I think they pushed him for it.
Yeah, they did. Scott Ernberger, number 49, made the tackle, but a good return. And we take you down to the sideline. A report from John Spagnola.
You know, the one thing that's really bothered Michigan State fans over the years is that the Michigan fans do not consider this their #1 rivalry. They look to Ohio State and now even Penn State as their main rivals. Well, Nick Saban is turning things around. If he wins this football game today, he'll be the first rookie head coach at Michigan State to beat Michigan his first chance out. Back to you, Terry.
I'll tell you this, Bags, it'll be the first time since 1967, too, that Michigan State's won 2 out of 3 from Michigan.
First down at the 44. Biakabatuka has carried the load in the second half. He gets ahead for a gain of maybe 3. There are flags coming in at the end of the play.
You know, the most important thing about that last drive for Michigan State was the way they did utilize the clock and let the defense get some rest, because Michigan had worn down the Michigan State defense.
And there's no question about it. Towards the end of that drive, they were very tired.
Boy, here's another penalty.
Face mask on the defense. 5 yards from the end of the run.
Boy, that's just killed the Spartans today. 6 penalties for 55 yards, and it's nothing new. That's the disappointing factor. They've been doing it throughout the year.
We talked about that earlier. They've had 4 games this year with 10 or more penalties.
Moon over East Lansing. 6:04 and counting left in this one, and it has been a beauty. Biakabatuka goes down at the 49. In the backfield, Jabbar Threets. And out pumped up are the Spartans in their crowd right now. Next Saturday, don't forget, 3:30 Eastern, ABC's college football. There is your lineup. The 2 Big Ten games you may get: Illinois, Ohio State, Iowa, Northwestern. Some of you may see #1 Nebraska against Kansas, or our Pac-10 game. So check your local listings and call your cable operator for the game available on pay-per-view next Saturday, 3:30 Eastern time here on ABC. 2nd and 4 for the Wolverines. Greasy straight back. Over the middle to Hayes. To the sideline. To the 38-yard line, and a first down for Michigan.
You know what's impressive about Michigan right now? The patience the Wolverines have shown. They're not trying to grab it all in 1 or 2 plays. Here, they've got Michigan State in a zone. Now watch this. Greasy goes back. He knows, he looks at his first receiver, his second. Now here comes Hayes underneath. He waits for him, though. Comes underneath the zone and clears to the corner. Boy, that is great patience by the Wolverines, and they're just taking it and taking what Michigan State gives them.
Albie Henry, the left cornerback, made the stop.
Greasy's now hit his last 5 passes.
Biakabatuka straight ahead. Legs driving inside the 35 to the 34. And 5:02 and counting left in the 4th here. Carl Reeves and Ike Reese both helped make the stop on Tim Biakabatuka.
Touchdown, Timmy.
Lloyd Carr, 7-1. Now the Wolverines coming into this one, needing to win, obviously, to keep their Rose Bowl hopes alive. Pass out to Reamersma, the tight end, to the 25-yard line. And another first down for the Wolverines. This has been the story in the second half, too. They kept it on the ground earlier. Now they go to the air. The short passes to the tight end. They're back.
Well, you know what? The coaches knew this was coming, too. And they're upset with Wright because Wright, the young junior, he was supposed to have the tight end on that play and never did. Came over late. Nick Saban just ran down the sideline to tell him so.
Wimmersma, 6 catches on the day. Came into the game with 21, third leading receiver on this team. They roll him along. Yakubatuka sidestepping a tackle and wrapped up at the 23. Reggie Garnett was there first.
It's a beautiful drive by Michigan. Again, just dink and dunk and use your strengths. Run the ball, then pass underneath. A lot of patience.
I think the sense this crowd is kind of holding its breath on this drive. 2nd and 7.
Yeah, no question. I think right now Nick Saban's trying to get them all involved.
Chris Floyd in the backfield along with Yakubatuka as Hayes goes in motion. Rolling is Greasy with a lot of room. And a receiver. Hayes in the end zone. Touchdown, Michigan. 22-yard pass after the play fake from Greasy to Mercury Hayes.
Hey, I've got to tell you, that was not only a great drive, but that's a great call. Because as the drive went on, Michigan State was trying to get more aggressive. So this time they let all the motion go to one side. They draw them. They let Michigan State run themselves out. Greasy comes back on the waggle and just drops a pass right to Hayes. Perfect. Boy, that was nice.
4th touchdown catch of the year for Mercury Hayes. More importantly, it's 24-21, and the point after it on its way. And it is good.
Terry, as this play starts, watch how it all goes away and all the green jerseys follow, especially Reeves, 55, the contain man. He comes outside, plenty of time, no pressure, just drop it in for the touchdown. Sweet.
College football on ABC Sports brought to you by MetLife. Get Met, it pays. U.S. Navy, UN Navy, full speed ahead. Chili's Grill and Bar, Chili's Grills like no place else. And Chevrolet, the cars and trucks 36 million people depend on every day. 3:38 left on a cold, snowy day in East Lansing. Michigan with the last drive of 7 plays. Ended up with a 22-yard pass from Greasy to Mercury Hayes. And they have the lead 25-21. Derek Mason, who already returned a punt 70 yards for a touchdown today. Line drive kick at his own 3. On the reverse. Nope. Not going to work. Inside the 10 at the 6-yard line. And Tim, they tried to get a little bit fancy, and this time they're backed up inside their 10-yard line and have to drive more than 90 yards for the go-ahead touchdown.
Go back to the touchdown. Watch this. All the motion is going to the left as you look. But look at Hayes. Mercury is wide open. Number 9 yelling for the ball. There's nobody picking him up. He gets behind right. Finally, Greasy finds him. Bingo. Touchdown, Michigan. That play was so well designed. He came free so early
that it's almost frustrating as a receiver. You're so open.
Terry, that's one where the defense had gotten so aggressive they ran themselves out of the play.
Pursuit, yep. But first down at the 12-yard line. Throws up to Scott Green. Tailback, fullback, knocked out at the 18-yard line. And with that catch, that is Green's 103rd career reception. That's the most ever by a Michigan State back. Passes Bobby Morse's record set back in 1983 to 86.
And we'll say this, the crowd has gotten very quiet, but nobody's leaving. Everybody's here with 3:24 left.
Gain of 7 on that last play, so it's 2nd and 3. Over the middle, complete to Mason. To the 33-yard line. And a first down for the Spartans.
Oh, baby, now this thing gets interesting. They've got plenty of room to work now. Move that ball out beyond the 30, and now watch Banks go to work.
Steve King on the tackle, but not before Derek Mason with a 14-yard catch. Look at this.
Again, Michigan in his zone. They just found the open area.
He's straight ahead, but not for much. William Carr, who has scored a touchdown today, the big defensive tackle, took it in a couple of yards out.
Wolverines have shut down the running game. Again, it's a hurry-up type scheme from Michigan State. In and out of the huddle in a hurry.
2nd and 11 after they lost one. Banks in the shotgun. A lot of time. Out to Green, and he can't hold on. Well covered by Chuck Winters. He didn't have a whole lot of room if he did make the catch.
I don't think the Spartans have to hurry as much as they are hurrying. Still have 2:37 to go. Every time they get a first down, if in fact they do, the clock will stop. But this brings up now a 3rd down and long, consequently, because of those last 2 hurry-up plays.
2 minutes and 37 seconds left in this one. 25-21 Wolverines, and a key 3rd down play here as Tony Banks operates out of the shotgun. Throwing to Scott Green and incomplete. So it brings up 4th down and 11 with 2:32 left.
I'll tell you right here, Terry, I would go for it. Even though it's 4th down and more than 10, you've got 2:32 left, and quite frankly, the defense for the Spartans has not been able to stop Michigan.
Well, when you have a Tim Yakubatuka in your backfield, you know, Lloyd Carr in Michigan has to feel pretty confident if they did get the ball back, they can run it out. And Nick Saban on the other sideline thinking exactly like that right now. You're exactly right. They're going to go on 4th and 11.
Have to. They have to. Banks has to be able to use his mobility here to buy as much time as he can.
They need to get to the 44. A lot of time for Banks. Complete to Mason and close to a first down. I don't think he got it, though.
You know, he reached out his left leg to try to get beyond the markers. He knew where they were, but they aren't going to give him the spot.
Right along the Michigan sideline, and obviously some arguments going on here. We'll see where the spot comes.
There's also going to be an unsportsmanlike penalty now because the Spartans came in and argued the call. That's a moot point because if they don't get it, the game's over anyway.
There will be a measurement.
Well, they will measure. And
watch his left leg after the catch. He's right by the markers. Boom. Now watch his left leg. That's awfully close.
Does the right go out first, though?
Yeah, I know.
That's so close.
They said they got the first. Now what about the flag? They gave him the mark. They gave him the first. Michigan State's got a first down, but there is a penalty marker. Now this would come after the measurement. This would be the personal foul after the play was dead.
Dead ball. Unsportsmanlike. On the offense. It'll be first down, 10.
All right, so it was after the mark. They got the first. That's a dead ball foul. Personal. It's going to be against Michigan State, but they'll have first down.
And let's go down to the sidelines, check in with John Spagnola.
Yeah, Terry, Robert Denton, the guard for Michigan State, came running in and said something. I think he said something about the spot initially. And as Tim Brand has mentioned throughout this game, Michigan State, with their emotions running high today, have hurt themselves, shot themselves in the foot once again.
John, they now have 7 penalties for 65 yards, but it is the 3rd time that after a play out of bounds, they have had an unsportsmanlike penalty go against them.
Talk about repetition. We say emotion gets in the way of concentration. They're arguing the mark. They come in now. The big linemen come in. Everybody starts screaming at the official. He just throws a flag. Says, that's it. I'm moving you guys backwards. But the biggest thing is,
it is first down. Exactly right. Favorable spot, too, from the officials. First down at the 28 now. Banks to throw. Out to Scott Green. Twists his way out to the 33, maybe the 34. 2:20 as the clock is stopped. And this is how the Wolverines got to this point. Their go-ahead touchdown to make it 25-21 on the misdirection.
Spartans were being very aggressive, so they ran a waggle. They sent all the motion one way. They let everything go that way. They came back to the backside. Look at Hayes, wide open. Michigan showed a lot of patience on that drive.
2:20 left, 2nd and 5. And again, out of the shotgun is Banks. To Green, across the 40. and across midfield. Scott Green, the all-time leading receiver in terms of a back in Spartan history. And a big gain. Clarence Thompson, Steve King on the tackle, but Green went 18 yards.
Still no hurry. The Spartans have plenty of time. 2 minutes, 12 seconds left. They've got 2 timeouts left, and every time they get a first down, the clock stops. They move the chains, the clock stops at 2:12. Here we go. This has been successful all day. High dink and dunk percentage passes underneath the zone of the Wolverines.
First down at the 49 of Michigan. Banks to Green again, who turns and slips and gains maybe a yard and a half. Rob Sweat there on the coverage and the tackle.
No huddle. Banks gets him up to the line of scrimmage. Already had a play called.
Out of the shotgun again on 2nd and 8. A lot of time for Banks. Hit as he throws. And complete to Mason. What a catch.
I don't believe Woodson missed it. He had the interception.
Charles Woodson, the freshman, had it in his hand. And as Mason was falling to the ground after the tip, he hauls it in for a gain of 22.
All year long, Michigan State, turnovers and penalties have killed him. I thought they had one here. Watch number 2, Woodson. He goes up. Here's the pick. But he can't hold on. Mason's right behind him. Great concentration to pull that in.
A minute 35 and counting now. 1st and 10 at the 25. Here's Banks. Flushed out of the pocket. On the run to Mason. Touchdown, Michigan State.
Mobility of Banks, he buys time. Now watch Carter, comes free in the corner for the touchdown.
The Gia Carter had the grab, and the Spartans have taken the lead. A minute 24 left. They lead Michigan by 3.
This place is rocking.
1:24 left here in East Lansing, and Michigan State back on top once again. 28-25 after the pass from Tony Banks to Najee Carter in the end zone. And so Chris Gardner will kick off back deep. Hayes and Toomer. And Monty Toomer watches it go out of the end zone. And so the Wolverines will bring it out to the 20 and have to drive 80 yards.
Terry, looking back on that last drive, watch Woodson goes up for the interception. Mason never loses concentration. He gets it on the tip. That was one big play. Then they come back. They have been using the dink and dunk, but the mobility of Banks, who's been outstanding all day, buys some time. Now watch him go to the corner. Here comes Carter, their big play receiver. Fastest guy on the team. Turns this time and just turns Thompson around 17. Makes the catch and the touchdown. Great patience by the Spartans, mixing their plays, going to the dink and dunk, finally going to the outside bingo for the touchdown.
Tony Banks, 26 out of 34 for 318 yards and a touchdown. But Michigan takes over with a minute 21 left, and Greasy has been awfully hot. 13 out of 20, but he's connected on 7 straight. Straight drop. Over the middle, complete to the tight end, Remersma, over the 26.
See, but now things have changed dramatically for Michigan. This is a club which, because of their size and the mismatch in size, has really worn down this Michigan State defense. But they can't now run the ball with Biaka Batuka. With 1 minute left in the game, they've got to spread the field. They have to start throwing now and rely on Greasy's arm.
They do have 3 timeouts left, though.
You're on the defense, so you got to watch the draw with Biaka Batuka, or the little screen underneath.
Straight drop on 2nd and 4, and the ball is on the ground. I believe Greasy got it back. The clock stopping at 40 seconds. The Wolverines taking that time out. And they will talk it over. We will step aside momentarily. 40 seconds left, and Michigan State up 28-25. Third down and 8 at the 22-yard line. Chris Howard in for Biaka Batuka now in the backfield. 3 receivers set for the Wolverines. Greasy throws to his tight end Remersma, and he underthrows him, causing him to fall down short of the first down.
Yeah, no question what they have to do, though, here on 4th down and almost 5. They've got to go for it. But Michigan's gotten out of its game plan, obviously had to. They were trapped with only 22 seconds left. They've got to go to a hurry up, something they're not comfortable with, and now the timeout.
The clock ticking down. They've got to get to the 31, and they just couldn't get it together offensively, so they have to call a timeout, which means they only have 1 left.
Terry, you look back on this game, and you remember Michigan State having 4th down and very, very long and picking up the first. That was huge. 4th down and 11.
Yep. Well, Michigan State throughout the day, I mean, in the first half, they outplayed Michigan. They held them to 3 points. In fact, those were the first 3 points on the board. And in the second half, especially the third quarter, it belonged to Michigan. They kept it on the ground. They gave it to Biaka Batuka, and they just wore out the defense of Michigan State. But they never quit. They kept coming back with big plays.
You know what I'm surprised with here in Michigan's last possession is they've had 3 downs now with the football, and Biaka Batuka has not touched it. Somehow you've got to get the ball to your stud. You've got to get it to Biaka Batuka, whether it's a draw, whether it's a little screen pass, or a quick opener, but you've got to get it to him and let him run.
Well, obviously, this game not just a big game in terms of rivalry, but also in terms of the Big Ten. Illinois with the win, Purdue, and of course the important one, Northwestern with the win over Penn State, which means that Michigan has to hope they lose somewhere else along the line.
Well, a loss here by Michigan will take them out of the hunt.
4th and 2. Here's Greasy to throw. Again to Remersma. Has enough for the first down after the completion.
But they're running out of time. They're down to 13 seconds. They'll move the chains. That'll stop the clock. So Greasy has time while they move the chains. But now he's got to think about going deep right now. He can't wait anymore.
Downs it to stop the clock, which shows 11 seconds right now.
He's got 2 shots at it. That's it. 11 seconds left.
Well, you've got some speed at the wideout spot. There's no question. You've got Mercury Hayes already with a touchdown catch today. Amani Toomer. That's one of the best combos in all of college football. And Lloyd Carr is going to have to use him here.
Still amazed that they took over this possession with more than a minute to go and never got the ball to Biaka Batuka.
Took over at the 20-yard line after the touchback, and now they're on at the 33. Greasy with a straight drop. To Hayes, and almost intercepted. Marvin White knocked it down, and the clock shows 6 seconds.
They've just got to put all the receivers on one side now, let them go deep and put it up for grabs and hope. With 6 seconds left, they've got 1 shot left. This place is ready to explode. What an upset.
The number 7 team in the country, the Michigan Wolverines, coming in. One of the oldest rivalries in all of college football. And the Spartans on the brink of an upset. 6 seconds remain. And Greasy maybe with the final one. Downfield and incomplete. And this one is over.
Okay, Nick, congratulations on a great win. Definitely your biggest win as coach of Michigan State.
Absolutely. I think any time that Michigan State can beat Michigan, it's a great game for us. Good game, right? And kids did a great job today. It was a great football game. Michigan's football team played a good game. So we're just happy as hell for our players.
I don't know if you're aware of this, but you're the first rookie head coach to beat Michigan in your first try, 0-18 up until now.
Well, we've played them enough times before, so even though I'm the head coach now, we got some experience playing them, so we're really just pleased for the players.
What does this do for your program as a first-year head coach here? Does it help you to go out and get recruits and bring people to East Lansing?
Well, I think it's a positive for Michigan State. I think it's a positive for the fans and all the people that relate to this school and this program. And it shows that we have the kind of program that people should be interested in.
And you're one more win now from getting your 6th and maybe going to a bowl.
Well, that's our goal for the year for our seniors, and that's what we want to try to accomplish.
Okay, Nick. Thank you very much. Congratulations. All right, Terry, back upstairs to you. Big win for the Spartans here today.
All right, John, thank you very much. 28-25, Michigan State with the upset over number 7 Michigan. And Tim Brandt, there weren't many people in this state, I think, that really expected it.
No, except Banks played as well as he could possibly play today. He used his mobility to the maximum. They said that was going to be a key today. Look at this. This is a perfect throw. He throws to the outside where only his guy Carter can get to it. They turned Thompson around. Carter came back to it and the touchdown to win it.
And the genuine Chevrolet most valuable players of the game, Tim Biakabatuka with 191 yards for Michigan. Tony Banks, 318 yards, Michigan State. 25th year NCAA sponsorship, Chevrolet will donate $1,000 to each school's general scholarship fund to reward outstanding students for their academic achievements and to assist those in financial need. The snowflakes continue to fall, but these folks will be here for a long time tonight. For John Spagnola and Tim Brandt, I'm Terry Gannon. So long from East Lansing